Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot-off-the-press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel.
Good morning. It's the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. We're out. Yes, we are back at Dispo and Romeo. You know where we're at. You see the setup, man. The great, the wonderful Dispo. We're back on a Friday, an exciting Friday, man, to preview some of the Lions this weekend. We got Michigan State. A lot going down. We got Jim Harbaugh, your man.
My man.
Stealing signals?
All
right, we'll get to that in the second hour.
Okay, we'll talk about it.
All
we'll
right.
have a little bit of fun.
I got to get the Sam Flannel mental health check with that, okay? We'll get into that and, of course, preview the state game. How's everyone doing this morning? We got the entire crew with us. Sam Flannel, of course, my partner in crime. We got JB, Lucas Klotz, Brady Wood, the entire crew here with us down at Dispo. Welcome to the show, everybody. I see people chiming in already. Tammy, happy birthday, Jeff. Appreciate you, Tammy, for that. Don Beats, again, appreciate you guys for all the love there. Yeah, it's a wonderful place. I mean, couldn't pick any better place to be on my birthday. I'm here at Dispo. I mean, come on. Might have to indulge in some products after this, but we'll see.
They got to get you right.
Yeah. All right. I want to start off before we get into anything, but just the game last night because I finally won something. All right. I was on a losing streak. Booner, who bets, and with the help of Brady. You know, even though he lost, but I talk to the people. See, I appreciate guys who I go to people that are smarter than me, okay? And in betting, I went to Brady, who's our sales guy. He wins a bunch of money. Booner never loses. And they got me right last night with a little 4-leg parlay. We got it right. I know Lucas went with balls to the wall last night with his bonus bets on a couple different guys.
Shout out Christian Kirk.
Yeah, Christian Kirk got a TD. What a game. I mean, finally, we don't have a slugfest for a primetime game. It was actually a little more high scoring than they typically have been. But, man, I got to say, my takeaway last night, and I hate even saying this because I'm not a Jags fan, but those Jags looked pretty good last night. Trevor Lawrence, even on one leg, and he was running with that knee brace on, but I got to give him credit, man. The Jags 5-2. I think the first time in over like 15 years, 10, 15 years, something like that. So shout out to the Jaguars.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. You got to give the Jaguars a ton of credit because after they lost against Houston, they got blown out against Houston. They were kind of deemed as, I don't know if they're going to be as good. I wouldn't say they were left for dead, but still, they got to a little bit of a slow start. Yeah. But right now, they're on a 4-game winning streak. They're 5-2. Trevor Lawrence actually played in that game.
He did.
And I think if he wouldn't, they probably would have lost because they gave up 24 points to New Orleans. But still, that was a very impressive win by Jacksonville. And how about the New Orleans Saints? They are going to give this damn division to Baker Mayfield, aren't they? Because they just can't win some games, man.
Yeah,
win some games.
Well, it's funny, and I want to get Lucas Klotz check-in with his boy Derek Carr in a little bit here.
God.
But typically, and this is how it goes for the most part, is the best quarterback wins the division. And I think Colin Cowherd brought this up. And it's weird to say, but in that division, you thought it was going to be Derek Carr and the Saints, but at this point, it's Mr. Baker Mayfield. That's what it looks like. Even though the Lions made him look pedestrian, he still's probably going to win that division, unless Desmond Ridder all of a sudden just turns into an all-pro. But regardless, yeah, the Saints aren't what we expected. I don't know if you want to blame Dennis Allen. Who do you want to blame, Lucas?
It's
not Derek Carr, right?
No, you can blame Derek Carr.
Okay, all right, just checking.
Him in the red zone, I thought it would just be a Vegas thing where even when he was in Oakland, like he would get his offenses down the field. And then in the red zone, it just stalled out. I'm like, it's probably coaching. And I don't think Dennis Allen's all that either. But, my God, Taysom Hill was more efficient in the red zone than Derek Carr last night. And, I mean, this is after watching Derek Carr, after being a Derek Carr supporter, I feel the same exact way as Saints fans right now.
Yeah.
They're just that face of disgust, just muck. I can't believe he's actually played this bad. And it's so inconsistent, too. They should have won that game.
You know,
they should have won that game. If he would have played just even 25% better, they win that game.
Well, your Foster Moreau drop TD from going to overtime.
Poor guy.
They
were going for 2. They would have went for 2. There was no way they were going to try to go to overtime. They probably would have not got it.
And
they ran Taysom Hill.
That's what's unfortunate. Didn't you have a Foster Moreau anytime touchdown?
I was thinking about it, man. I didn't.
You were thinking about it.
I was thinking about it. I went Evan Ingram instead.
The balls that bet would have taken to bet on Foster Moreau.
You know what I'm really mad about? I wanted to do a Taysom Hill anytime touchdown, and I didn't. I fell asleep right before the game, and I woke up, and I was like, I was going to do Taysom Hill and Alvin Kamara receptions. Both of those was smacked, but it's too late.
Oh, yeah.
By the way, Alvin Kamara is averaging like 10 catches a game. I don't know if Derek Carr's either a check down machine or, Alvin Kamara is just that good. But last night, another double-digit reception game. Won some money. I bet on 4 receptions in my parlay, and that hit definitely had like triple that. But regardless, the Saints, I don't think they're dead in the water, at least for their division. Division's weird. I mean, I don't know who the Bucs face this week. I actually have to look that up.
It's like the modern-day AFC South, what it used to be.
Yeah, it's just like it really is. Just speaking of slugfest, that division's a slugfest. To be honest with you, at this point, I would say you should go with the Bucs to be favorites in that division, but you just never would have guessed. I mean, the Saints were my pick from day one, and I'm kind of shocked by that. I'm just happy the Jags, my my AFC Championship pick and my MVP Trevor Lawrence that are going to take down your Chiefs are still alive.
We'll see.
I think MVP Trevor Lawrence is dead though.
Probably.
Hey. I'm still holding on.
Yeah, I'm a supporter of it, too. I was in the same boat.
I'm still holding on.
But, to be fair, I think ultimately the division is going to go, the AFC South is going to go exactly like we thought it would. The Jacksonville Jaguars are going to end up running away with it. And like I said, you got to give them credit. They've won 4 in a row. They're now 5-2. And even though some people said at the beginning, and even when they were winning some games, and I don't blame them to some extent that they didn't look as impressive, Trevor Lawrence really hasn't taken that step. They're 5-2, and he's having a pretty solid season. Nothing special, but he's still one of the top quarterbacks in the league. And how about that Saints defense last night, too, giving up the season high in rushing yards to not 100% Trevor Lawrence. That'll kill you, too.
Yeah, he was killing them on the ground as well. Just the Saints in that defense. And, Dennis Allen, defensive coach. This is my problem, though.
His play calling was so bad.
Well, it's that, too, but it just coaches around the NFL. If your specialty is either offense or defense, you have to get that side of the football right. Like, that's what frustrates me with certain guys. Like, for example, Brandon Staley. That defense has talent. They're one of the worst defenses in the league. Actually, one of the worst passing defenses in the league.
31st.
Yeah, 31st. You're a defensive head coach. That's what frustrates me. Like for Dan Campbell, we'd classify him as an offensive head coach.
Yes.
Well, through his tenure, last 2 years, he's had a top 10 offense with the help of Ben Johnson. So that's what it should be. But Dennis Allen, you got some guys, Marshawn Lattimore and, of course, Cam Jordan, but, that defense hasn't been able to figure it out yet. So we'll see with that. Saints, the Lions play them. And is that at home or is that on the road?
It's on the road.
Oh,
It's looking more winnable as the weeks go on.
I thought before the season, I have to look because I wrote down the schedule, but I think that was one of those games where I was like, ooh, Saints are going to be a tough game. Yeah, with new information, you're allowed to change your opinion.
Yes.
The Saints don't look like the Saints I thought they were.
No, they most certainly do not. Their offense looks stagnant. Their defense has played well in some games, but it's just that offense. You mentioned Alvin Kamara. He has been one of the best pass-catching running backs of the past 5 years or so. And ever since he's come back, he's racking up the receptions. You got Chris Olave, who's an up-and-coming star. You've got Michael Thomas, who even though he's definitely not the Michael Thomas he was in 2019 when he set the single-season reception record, he's still back and healthy, and he's been a solid-ish possession receiver. And your offense still is just struggling in so many games. One of the reasons they can't win these games is because they can't put up 20 points. They actually put up 20 points yesterday, and they still lost. Damn those Saints. Don't give the division to Baker Mayfield, please.
Well, speaking of, I mentioned Dan earlier. I want to ask, look at some of the best coaches in the NFL. Who's winning that Nickelodeon Most Valuable Player Award? I think Dan's, dude, does Belichick have one of those?
No, he does not.
I don't think so.
So there's the picture. Did you see the picture of him just standing with the slime on his head?
Yeah. What's like the actual term for it? Is
the Nickelodeon Valuable Player, and he was the first coach to win it.
Oh,
first coach
look
ever.
at the photo of him with the slime on his head, man. Come on. I love Dan. He's a man of the people. And all I'm asking is, has Andy Reid, has Bill Belichick, has those guys won this award?
No.
He's one of one.
Add a line to Dan Campbell's Hall of Fame resume.
Yeah, I was going to say, Coach of the Year is nice, but the Nickelodeon Valuable Player is everything. And Dan Campbell has one of those.
It's everything now. So when
Mitch Trubisky also owns one of the awards, so that's important.
That is some hella company right there. Mitch Trubisky, Dan Campbell. But in all seriousness, that is I don't really care about that award in any way, shape, or form because at the end of the year when he's holding up the Coach of the Year award, this will seem like no big deal.
He'll have a two-piece at the end of the season: Coach of the Year, Nickelodeon Valuable Player.
And
He'll have
a
both
Super
of them.
Bowl, Lombardi Trophy.
He wins Super Bowl MVP. Just give it to Dan, honestly, dude. If we win, just give it to Dan. And you know what? I did say that if he wins a Super Bowl, I don't think a statue. Only Lions fans would say that. I mean, if I'm being honest with you, that guys have won Super Bowls in this league. Like Doug Peterson, does he have a statue outside in Philly?
Dan Campbell would deserve a statue.
I get it. I mean,
You're saying he wouldn't?
No, I'm just saying, like, wow, it's that bad. Like, that
Yeah.
if you win a Super Bowl, yeah, I guess you do deserve a statue.
It is that bad.
Like, Doug Peterson won a Super Bowl, he's out. And they don't even care. They're on to Nick Sirianni.
To Flannel's point about the whole if Nick Foles has a statue in Philly,
That's fair.
Dan Campbell's ass better have a statue,
Well,
too.
if you're saying that, that's fair. Yeah, Nick Foles, I don't know why the hell he's got a statue.
The Philly special.
Of course, yeah. Yeah. Why not put the guy who orchestrated the play call, Doug Peterson? How about you put him up there? All right. Anyway, I want to see some of these comments. Your Honolulu Busparty, that last red zone possession was cringe, throwing a fade to a short receiver with no touch on it, no creativity in play calling. Yeah, that was bad.
The play
it was
calling, everything about the Saints besides their defense and Alvin Kamara yesterday was just atrocious. Even Chris Olave was dropping easy passes. Michael Thomas had 0 yards at halftime.
It was a weird game. Like, did you see the Jamal Agnew trying to return a kickoff?
What was up with that too? The Jaguars.
I think it was a punt actually, but yeah, that was a mess.
The Jaguars would have Jamal Agnew out there. Marshawn Lattimore would be across from him. They target him every time. And
Yeah.
like Calvin Ridley would have the cornerback 2, and then you have Christian Kirk on the quarterback 3, and they're like, yeah, we're gonna go Jamal Agnew. For sure. That's where we're gonna go.
Lions legend Jamal Agnew.
Yeah,
Detroit made him.
Yes.
No, Jamal.
Dude,
Detroit made
this
him.
man was a cornerback out of San Diego. Not
That
even
is true.
San Diego State. San Diego, just flat out San Diego.
Yeah.
And then they were like, all right, let's try him on offense. Let's try him a kick returner. Detroit made Jamal Agnew.
Hey, and when you can take a couple back in your career, you've been successful at a kick returner. And this is something that Byrne said. Shout out Byrne for the donation. He says, and I think he's right on this, that it's a statue of Nick Foles and Doug Peterson calling the Philly special. So
there is a statue of Doug.
If that makes it any better. Because honestly, if we're going to do the whole, if Dan Campbell wins a Super Bowl in Detroit, we're going to give him a statue, you got to give Doug Peterson one and be okay with it for Philadelphia, because that is their only Super Bowl in their entire franchise history. This is Andy Reid couldn't win one.
That's
Dick
why
Vermeil didn't win one back in the day.
That's why I asked, and thanks for Byrne. I mean, yeah, you know what? Screw it. Yeah, give Dan a statue. You got Doug Peterson over there. Yeah, Dan definitely deserves one. Let's go to break here in a minute or so, and we'll get to the injury report update for the Lions. Who practiced, who didn't practice, who's going to play, who might not play. We'll get into all that discussions. And then any concerns, and you guys feel free to chime in the chat, any concerns you have for this game. And I have a couple that I want to get to, not to be negative, but just keep it 100 with you guys and be honest. At 8:30, we'll have the discussion who needs to make the biggest impact both offensively and defensively. We like to do this on Fridays. It's fun, and typically when we name some guys, they've showed up. So it's been a lot of fun. Me and Sam will name ours. Lucas will chime in as well. And then at 8:45, I want to revisit our record predictions because, like I say, and Neil Rule says, and this is a very popular saying, when new information, you're allowed to change your opinion. Sure. What's your updated record? I had 11-6. You had?
I had 12-5.
12-5. So we want to see how everyone's feeling. Lucas, what did you have before the season?
I want to say 11-6.
11-6. Okay, we'll revisit that. We'll give our updated predictions. 9 o'clock, we'll get to the Jim Harbaugh stuff, of course. Hey, it is what it is. And I'll give you my thoughts. Sam Flannel will give you his thoughts, and we'll preview Michigan versus Michigan State. And then at 9:16, I want to play the clip of Debo talking to C.J. Gardner-Johnson. We'll have fun with that one. And then, of course, 9:30, we'll give our Lions-Ravens game predictions. But first, we got to hear about our friends over at Lady Jane's.
Oh, absolutely. Lady Jane's, where I get all of my finest haircuts from the finest stylists. Come to Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience. Register to win a trip of your dreams and all expenses paid suite for the 2024 NCAA tournament. That's right. No expense spared for you and 5 of your best buds. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Join Woodward Sports' own Jeff Iafrate, along with special WSN guests for the most anticipated Lions season in decades. Filled with different surprises and expert analysis. You're not going to want to miss out. Go to our Woodward Sports YouTube channel on Sundays and tune in live from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m.
Hey, this is Mr. Kearney, Chief Academic Officer, Academy of Warren. I want to welcome you to the brand new Field House. The state-of-the-art facility has a regulation basketball court, volleyball court, soccer field. It can be used for 7-on-7 football. Our K-8 academic features AM, PM, latchkey, small classroom sizes, Learning Street, futuristic media center, free breakfast and lunch, Houghton Mifflin curriculum, academic games, K-8 athletics, and more. Enroll today at academywarren.net.
Brace yourselves, Detroit. As the sun begins to set, two of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Spooner and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Spooner and Broder.
Downtown's newest sports bar. They got 13 TrackMan simulators, certified instructors, and of course, most importantly, a full bar and restaurant. 5-iron leagues are officially back as well. Compete nationwide for a chance to win a trip to the Dominican Republic. You bring a foursome, or you sign up as an individual, and then you can compete or be placed on a team. Use code Woodward10 for 30% off the league, and of course, that is 5-iron golf to to sign up today. Man. I am so excited for this game on Sunday. I'm fired up. It's a good test for the Lions. Yeah, it's fun whooping the Falcons. It's fun whooping the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I mean, it's fun whooping the Packers. But you know what, Sam? It's a good measuring stick game.
Sure.
That's how I look at it. You have Lamar freaking Jackson, who's an MVP. And you can say, well, he won the MVP years ago. That's fair. But he's still dynamic.
Sure.
Like, he still can affect the game and be – we talk a lot about guys you win because of. There you go. Example A, Lamar Jackson, a guy that you can win because of. And it's a great test for this Lions defense. Quarterback play and who they faced this year, it's been, up and down. Of course, Patrick Mahomes, they played pretty well against. Of course, without his number one weapon. Regardless, they held their own against Patrick and Andy Reid. And then you look at Geno, and you know what happened with that Geno Smith game. It is what it is. But ever since then, they've been back to the defense that we thought they'd be. They've been a stout secondary despite injuries. They've had the defensive line has been even better than I predicted them to be as well. But any concerns you have for this game? And before we get into that conversation, I'll read off the practice report and who's playing, who's not. Because Matt Broder, courtesy of our guy here at Woodward Sports, he came out with a practice report yesterday, and no practice for Jonah Jackson and David Montgomery. So we'll see how that trends. But guys that did play or have limited practice, Brian Branch, limited practice. That's a good sign. You want him back. Teddy Bridgewater, wow. Hopefully he doesn't see the field at all, but he had a limited practice. Jahmyr Gibbs, limited practice. Sam Laporta, limited practice. James Mitchell, limited practice Wednesday and Thursday. When I say limited practice, I mean for Wednesday and Thursday. Josh Pascal, limited practice. Might see the return of Josh Pascal. Craig Reynolds, no practice Wednesday, limited practice Thursday. And then, of course, Frank Ragnow, his typical week-to-week basis. He's always limited in practice, so he'll probably be playing as well. Just dealing with that toe injury that we knew about before this season. A lot of guys that are banged up, Sam, but guys that could be returning. For example, Jahmyr Gibbs, Brian Branch, and Josh Pascal. Lions could use those three players. That's
could.
A good sign.
Yeah, I would definitely say Jahmyr Gibbs and Brian Branch for sure. Josh Pascal, I think you're a little bit higher on him than most. But you know what? This isn't a Josh Pascal bashing session. He would be valuable to this team if he played. And when he has played, he has made some impact plays. He has in this season and last year. But the thing about the Baltimore Ravens that has to be a concern is their defense is just really damn good. They're second in passing yards allowed per game, 9th in rushing yards allowed per game, 4th in points allowed per game, and 2nd in yards allowed per game. So by those numbers, they're top 10 in all of those categories and top 5 in 3 of them. And here's the thing about their defense, too. They've got a lot of dudes on that defense. They've got players. Roquan Smith, you might as well call him Roquan Lewis or Ray Smith this year because he looks like the second coming of Ray Lewis. This year, he's looked like the best linebacker in football.
Yeah, agreed.
100%. You got Patrick Queen, who is one of the, you could argue, the best number 2 linebacker in football.
I think
Dre Greenlaw.
Besides, I was going to say, besides Fred Warner and Dre Greenlaw, these two are the dudes.
Devin White, Levante
duo.
David.
Yeah, I think these guys are better.
I would take
Roquan.
I'm not there.
Just at this point in time. How old is Levante?
Did you see Levante David last week?
He was very good.
Well, you're about to see Roquan.
So
we'll
Patrick
see.
Queen, he's very athletic, and he's just very inconsistent.
That's true. It's mainly just
Roquan's
Roquan.
helping him out a shit ton because he doesn't have to be that number one guy.
How about we break bread?
Let's break
They're
bread.
one of the best
Absolutely.
linebacker duos in the
Yep,
league.
I'll give
Okay.
you that.
No matter where you rank them, we'll say top 3 or argue wherever. But to your point, Sam, yeah,
Right.
that's a dangerous duo.
Well,
Middle of
right,
that defense.
and linebacker too. That's not even really a position. But I'm saying as far as like a linebacker duo, Roquan Smith and Patrick Queen are at worst, I would say, top 3 this season. You could argue the Jets duo, the 49ers duo. I think those are the only ones that you could maybe put above them. But still,
Way to disrespect Anzalone and Jack Campbell.
I'm a hater, right? I am a 100% hater then.
Yeah.
No, but that's the thing. They've also got Jadeveon Clowney is playing very well this year. Justin Madubuike, a guy that I mentioned yesterday, he's actually second in the NFL amongst defensive tackles in sacks with 4.5. He has more than Quinnen Williams. He has more than Aaron Donald. The only person that is ahead of him is Chris Jones. And obviously in the secondary, they've got some players who have either been playing well or are playing very well this year. I mean, Marlon Humphrey, he's not having his best year and he's been hurt, but still, he's a guy. He's a dude that's been a Pro Bowler in this league, been one of the better corners in this league before. Kyle Hamilton is a stud. Geno Stone. Geno Stone has actually probably been their best defensive back this year, and he's somebody that the Lions certainly have to be weary of. This is one of those games I don't see the Lions scoring a ton of points, and I think this is a game where they could really use a David Montgomery, a physical running back, and they're not going to have him. Certainly, if Jahmyr Gibbs and Brian Branch are playing, that is going to be huge. If neither of them do, especially Jahmyr Gibbs, and even Craig Reynolds looks a little questionable, who is going to carry the football?
Yeah, that's my point. I'm glad you brought up the David Montgomery thing because against the Packers in that defensive line, you needed a physical runner. I mean, Tampa Bay, and they played great against them. Even with David Montgomery, they weren't really able to run the ball. Of course, they had injuries on their offensive line, but there's no excuse for that. You just couldn't run the ball.
Sure.
This is a game for David. I agree with you. The bruiser type of running back, this was a game where I think he would thrive in. I mean, you talk about some injuries for the Ravens right now. Marcus Williams has not practiced all week with a hamstring injury, and those are – hamstrings are tough to deal with. I mean, Jahmyr's kind of dealing with it right now. I don't know the severity of Marcus Williams, but I don't think he'll be playing. But regardless, that defensive line, I'm pretty sure they're number 1 in sacks, the Ravens, right now. And you have the resurgence of Jadeveon Clowney, who I did not see that coming with the Ravens, but he's playing well. They got Odafe, who's a young player. He's really talented as well. They got a pretty good defensive line. It's a good test for this Lions offensive line, and in all honesty, you got Craig Reynolds dealing with a hamstring and a toe injury. You got Jahmyr dealing with a hamstring. And then, of course, you already have David Montgomery out because of the cartilage issue. So if there is a concern for me, it's running the ball. Like, you look at that defense, and Lucas, I want your opinion on this, but you got one of the best linebacker duos. You got a defensive line that gets after the quarterback. Pretty good defense. And you got some injuries you're dealing with here. Jahmyr's kind of dealing with one. He'll be playing, though. I don't know if he's 100% healthy. Craig, I don't know if he's 100% healthy, and then David's out. And you might have some – and who knows if Jonah's going to play. He didn't practice all week. I'm if there's one thing I could point to I'm concerned about, Jared Goff, and we'll get to him later because I'll talk about how important he has to have another big game, but I'm concerned that running the football is going to be tough this week.
I mean, it's
really
absolutely going to be tough. I don't think this front seven is as good as Tampa Bay's, but it's right up there.
I think it is.
I mean, think about it. The defensive line, Vita Vea, Kalijah Kancey looks like a stud already. Shaq Barrett, Devin White, Levante David, that's a great front seven. Where the Ravens blow the Bucs out of the water is in the secondary. That's where you can give it to the Ravens all day. But this front seven is definitely going to cause havoc. I think it's going to be very similar to what we saw last week. I mean, if Jahmyr Gibbs is out there, like we said, Jahmyr Gibbs is a great talent, but he's not the bruiser that David Montgomery is. We're not going to see the broken tackles, the falling forward. So running the ball, it's going to be tough, and I really don't think the Lions are going to be able to get it going like they would. So I think, to your point, Jeff, this game's going to go on the arm of Jared Goff again.
Yeah, and that's kind of what it has to be. And I don't want to tease, next segment because it is how I feel. But Jared has to do, which is tough to ask of any quarterback. I don't want to, and this is the thing that Neil kind of brought up, and I do agree with him that people, especially the Jared Goff haters, are going to come out if Jared struggles this game. But people don't understand without a run game. Jared can light up a half and light up a game, but to consistently do that without a run game. Josh Allen's really one of the guys who's been without a run game for, really majority of his career. And they run the ball situationally, but he's been able to thrive in that. But not every quarterback can do that. Josh even turns the ball over a crap ton. So for Jared, it's ideal that for any quarterback, and Jared included, you can run the ball because who's one of the best quarterbacks, if not the best in play action? Jared Thomas Goff. So establishing who looks like you, Ryan Reynolds looking, Ryan Gosling looking mother. Anyway. You got to establish play action, but if you can't run the football, Sam, it's it's going to be tough for this offense. They're going to get tested this week. No
Yeah,
doubt about it.
I mean, they most certainly are. And I'm not necessarily saying it's a foregone conclusion that the Lions won't be able to run the football. I mean, they still have one of the top offensive lines in the league. You still might get Jahmyr Gibbs back, which I think will be big for them, especially that they don't have David Montgomery. They might be able to run the football. But, I mean, I'll get to it more in the next segment. But the secondary, the Baltimore Ravens secondary is a secondary that the Lions definitely need to respect. They have a lot of good players and a lot of players who are playing well this year. But I don't think that they are invincible. I don't think they are above getting picked apart by Jared Goff. And I'll explain more why later. But I wouldn't be shocked at all if Jared Goff had a good game. I don't think it's a foregone conclusion that this is going to be a schedule loss or that he's going to play subpar. Right. I mean, he hasn't had a bad game the whole season. And I get it. The Ravens are probably the best defense they've played this season, either them or the Chiefs. But still, Jared Goff hasn't played a bad game the whole year. I'm not just going to write him off as like, he might not play that well. Well, I think he can.
In saying that, like worrying about him not playing well, but at least for me, I don't think that's a shot at Jared.
Sure,
like this comment, Caston Reed, 30-mile-per-hour winds. I don't think anyone is winning through the air. Is that true? I can't confirm that. But if it's 30,
fucking Landover, Maryland.
I was going to say, if it's 30-mile-per-hour winds, man, you're going to need Craig Reynolds to be Netflix and Jahmyr Gibbs to light it up here. This comment I agree with, though. Corey Hall, need to be able to run the ball in all different ways instead of just between the tackles, jet sweeps, screens directions, and misdirections. Yeah, that's very true. And you have receivers who can do that.
That's what I was
like Khalif Raymond, Amon-Ra St. Brown, like those guys can do that essentially.
Yeah, Ben Johnson, I was going to kind of bring it up next segment, but Ben Johnson's definitely got to get in his bag and using Amon-Ra St. Brown, Khalif Raymond, and even J-Mo. Like, I want to see J-Mo get a couple rushing carries this week because, like we said, the running back room is banged up. You have to get your best players with the ball in their hands. And, I mean, those guys are all capable of doing it. Amon-Ra St. Brown last week took a screen 15 yards on one of the first plays of the game. Jamison Williams, remember, against Chicago. Khalif Raymond can do it at any time. He's already had a 40-yard reverse. So that's what they're going to have to do. Quick screens, just get it out of Jared's hand and use it as an extension of the running game.
Yeah, this is a Ben Johnson game. Mm-hmm. Like you're gonna have to reach deep in your bag, Ben. Like the things that you have not shown this year that you were saving for the playoffs or saving for big games later in the year. You got to use some of that stuff right now. The creativity. You need like a sweep to Jamison. You need like an end around to Jamison Williams. You got to start pulling some tricks out the bag, Sam, to win this one. Because the defense. I don't know if this is fair for me to say. I'm more concerned, which is weird. I can't believe I'm saying this. I'm more concerned about the offense than I am the defense this week. I think even though Lamar's a terrific player, the defense has shown me what they're good at. Top 3 in the league right now in rushing, I believe. Yeah, they are, just to confirm. They're actually number 1.
Yes.
So they're number 1 in rushing still. But the offense, I am pretty concerned about.
Yeah, I mean, the offense, it's been consistent over the last couple of years. I mean, every team is going to have a game where they don't play their best, especially last year. I don't even want to go back to Dallas and New England because it's irrelevant now because this is a whole new team. I'm worried about the offense in some extent in terms of running the football, but at the same time, I don't think the Baltimore Ravens are going to shut them down by any means. I don't think the Lions will have any trouble getting to at least maybe 17 or 20. And I'm not saying that's a great offensive performance or anything, but in this game, it might be enough to win or at least keep it close. And, hey, maybe it'll be enough to set them up with a game-winning drive or something like that at the end, get them to maybe 24. I don't think the offense will be stagnant or anything. Like I said, I think it depends a lot on if Jahmyr Gibbs plays, how the running game goes, but in terms of the passing game, I wouldn't be shocked at all if Jared Goff has a big game and is at least efficient and crisp and does enough to win. And maybe, like you said, Ben Johnson cooks up one of those plays, like one of those flea flickers or something like that. Gets Sam Laporta on a long touchdown, or J-Mo or somebody like that. Ben Johnson is the best offensive coordinator in the league.
No doubt about it.
I would never bet against him.
He is him.
He is him.
As some people would say. Ali G says, any info on Laporta's injury? Yeah, he's limited in practice, but I think he'll play. He played last week. It's the same injury he had last week. I didn't hear anything about it getting worse.
No, and he looked fine last week.
Yeah, and he looked fine. It's a calf injury he's dealing with, but, again, he should be good to play. Yeah, he was practicing at a limited extent this week. So Sam Laporta, Sam Lagoda, good to go.
Correct.
They're going to need him this week. Yeah, Speak is correct. That's his birth certificate name, Sam Lagoda. That's how you pronounce it. All right, we'll go to break. When we get back, we'll get into our discussion, which player offensively and defensively for the Lions need to step up. And, I got some interesting choices here. I don't know what Sam or Lucas's is, so we'll have that discussion. Get yours ready to comment in the chat. We'll read off a couple as we go along. But first, Where are we, Sam Flannel?
Oh, we are at Dispo in Romeo. I mean, I'm taking a look around right now. You all should come in and stop by, even if you don't partake, like I even don't partake, but this is still a very, very fun atmosphere. And shout out to Dispo. They treat us so well, just like King. Shout out to Brady Wood as well. It's his account. Experience Dispo Romeo, a team that curates an exclusive atmosphere mixed with fresh inventory from Michigan's largest variety of products. The first ever cannabis mall of its kind is conveniently located off of Van Dyke and 32 Mile Road in Romeo. Dispo Romeo is now open late night until midnight every day except Sunday. Can it get any better than that? Dispo Dispensary, disposhops.com, your local cannabis plug.
Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot-off-the-press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel.
Where's the most convenient place to get that big fitness energy?
It's Planet Fitness.
Join today for just $1 down, $10 a month. With over 2,400 locations and equipment for every workout, you can get in, get energized, and get going. And with free fitness training and most clubs open 24 hours, everyone belongs in the judgment-free zone. So join today for $1 down, $10 a month, no commitment, cancel anytime. Deal ends Wednesday, September 13th.
Join now at any Metro Detroit location. Hurry, offer ends soon.
Join Woodward Sports' own Jeff Iafrate, along with special WSN guests for the most anticipated Lions season in decades. Filled with different surprises and expert analysis. You're not going to want to miss out. Go to our Woodward Sports YouTube channel on Sundays and tune in live from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m.
When buying or selling real estate, flexibility and control over the sales process is key. Sellers, how would you like the freedom of canceling your listing agreement at any time for any reason with no penalty? That is exactly what Mark White & Associates offers. It's called the Minute-by-Minute Listing Agreement by Mark White & Associates. Try Mark White's risk-free minute-to-minute listing agreement today. Looking to buy or sell real estate? Visit markwhitesells.com or call 248-290-8242. markwhitesells.com, where flexibility meets success.
We're back. It's the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. We're out in Romeo at Dispo, courtesy of our friends over at Dispo, and of course, the sales team here at Woodward Sports for getting it done and easy with the connection. I mean, this is a great spot. I'm happy we're in business with them. They always take care of us. I mean, every time we come in here, they got Tim Hortons donuts for us. Like, we're spoiled.
Wine and
I guess the
dine.
Hollywood thing doesn't really help when I tell people that.
Hey, happy birthday, though.
Thank you. Yeah, no, at least I get off today.
Yep.
You know, I get one freebie day. All right, I'll take it. JB can't clip me today. That's fair.
That's what you think. All it takes is a good old screen record off YouTube.
Okay,
That's
all right.
actually true.
Relax. All right, relax. All right, let's get to the conversation, everybody. Who needs to have the biggest game, offensively and defensively, or at least who needs to step up? However you want to look at it, because stepping up can be interpreted as in they didn't step up previously. But who needs to have the biggest game? At least we'll start offensively. And I'll just get the easy one out of the way because I think I can't think of any other answer but this one. It has to be, and you could go two ways with this. Got to be Jared Goff, but that's kind of the obvious one. I'll go a little into why. I mean, you look at the Ravens right now, at least defensively, they're 20th, or excuse me, read that wrong, 12th in takeaways. Lions are 8th. So they're a team that can take the football away. They picked off Ryan Tannehill last week. Not saying Jared, he had some turnover issues early in the year, threw a couple interceptions. Like, this is one of those games that you just can't turn the ball over. That cannot happen. You saw what it did against the Seattle Seahawks, Geno Smith, and how that benefited them. But regardless, I think turning the football, if you're on the road, you're facing a good defense, maybe an offense that lacks some explosive plays, but they are dynamic, you don't want to give Lamar a short field. You just don't. So turnovers are key in this football game. Don't turn the ball over. But Jared has to have a big game. I'm not saying that the Lions should abandon the run and Jared should throw 50, 60 pass attempts, but he's got to, of course, be accurate, which he always is. He's got to make the right decisions. Please, no turnovers. That's big time. And he's got to get the ball out quickly because this Ravens defensive line is they're coming. And they're up there in sacks. I believe, I have to double check, but they're number one right now in sacks currently. And they have like 8 or 10 or something like that, different players with a sack.
Sure.
So they got a lot of dudes that can get after the quarterback, Sam Flannel. So the biggest one, and I have another one I'll bring up, But the most important one I got to get out the way is Jared Goff. He's got to have a big game. He's got to have a big game.
Yeah, Jared Goff is certainly, I mean, no question about it. The quarterback is the most important position on any football team, and Jared Goff certainly has to play well. I'm going to go with another obvious one, but like you said, I'm going to explain a little bit deeper into why. I'm going to go with Amon-Ra St. Brown because this season, the Baltimore Ravens, their pass defense, it is second in the NFL, which is very, very impressive in passing yards allowed per game. But I also was looking a little bit at some next-level stats and even watching a little bit of highlights, I would say. And Marlon Humphrey this season, the Baltimore Ravens star corner, he's been hurt for a lot of the year, but when he has played this season, he's kind of been burnt toast. Those are just what the numbers say. When he has been targeted this season, he has allowed a 139.9 passer rating. I obviously think that'll go down the more games Marlon Humphrey plays, but I think in this particular advantage, he is their best corner right now, Marlon Humphrey, and Amon-Ra St. Brown is the best wide receiver. And when you look at the Baltimore Ravens pass defense this year, and I know that when you're second in the NFL, it's impressive no matter what, no matter who the competition is. But let me just go through who the Baltimore Ravens have played. Not a lot of great quarterbacks. Spoiler alert, Jared Goff is the best one by far. Yeah. In the first game of the season, the NFL debut of C.J. Stroud. Obviously, C.J. Stroud is one of the Rookie of the Year frontrunners, but it's tough playing Baltimore in your NFL debut. And then in the second game, it was early season hampered by a calf injury, Joe Burrow. And Joe Burrow back then, in the beginning of the season, he was not a good quarterback. He's obviously righted the ship a little bit and seems to be healthier, but still, back then, Joe Burrow was not the Joe Burrow that we know. In the third game, Gardner Minshew, solid backup. It's not that big of a deal to hold Gardner Minshew, even though the Ravens did lose that game. And then, when they played the Cleveland Browns, guess who the quarterback they got to face was? Dorian Thompson-Robinson.
Oh, yeah.
And DTR probably had the worst game any quarterback's ever had this year. Honestly, I'm not saying it's DTR's fault. He wasn't ready for that situation, but still, it's a fairly easy matchup.
So what you're saying is the DTR hype train from the preseason came to a stop and never took back off.
That was actually getting a little bit annoying. There were a lot of people like Dorian Thompson-Robinson, but anywho, and then the next game, my favorite quarterback of all time, being very sarcastic by the way, Kenny Pickett. And even though the Steelers won that game, it was
like 15-9.
Yeah, it was an ugly game.
Yeah,
ugly.
Kenny Pickett made one play. And then in the last game in which the Ravens won in London, they got to play a combination of Ryan Tannehill and when he went down, Malik Willis. So Jared Goff in this Lions offense, which is by a mile the best they have faced this season and the best quarterback and the best offensive coordinator, it presents a new set of challenges. And that's why I kind of mentioned before that don't be surprised if Jared Goff has a big game. Don't be surprised if he can make some plays. And Amon-Ra St. Brown is his favorite receiver, and he is a guy that I think in a matchup versus Marlon Humphrey or Brandon Stevens, their other corner, or maybe even Rocky Ya-Sin. I know he's back. I think Amon-Ra St. Brown has the advantage, and I think that the Lions are going to rely a lot on the short pass game, especially if their running game doesn't get going, especially if Jahmyr Gibbs is out or him and Greg Reynolds are hampered. So to me, it is Amon-Ra St. Brown. I expect a game which is a slightly less productive version of the game he had at Tampa Bay, something like 8 receptions for 92 yards and maybe a touchdown.
And I got the poll up here in the chat. Will Jared Goff have a big game? Shout out to Evan, by the way, my boy, Evan Sinelli in the chat. Happy birthday, Jeff. Appreciate you, Evan. Appreciate you guys for all the birthday wishes, man. Seriously, I know I can't get everybody, but I love you guys. You're the best. Another guy I want to mention, Lucas, before I throw it to you, that I think is just another obvious one, but I do think this game could be it. I know it's unfair. It's a good defense. But Jahmyr Gibbs, it doesn't have to be all rushing, but just scrimmage yards. Can we have a big game from Jahmyr? Come on. This has to be the game.
Would you want to see more than you did against Atlanta? 17 carries.
No, I'm not as mad about it. I like the amount of touches he got in the run game, but I'm talking like in the passing yards. I would like to see like 40-plus yards receiving. I just think you see Kamara, dude, not like what he can do, and I get they're easing Jahmyr along. I get all that, but
not this week.
I just looking at this Ravens defense, there's going to be plenty of opportunities for check downs. Like if they're coming after Jared, get the ball out to Jahmyr, allow him to make plays, get him in space. What do you think about that?
I mean, definitely. Jahmyr Gibbs has to have a big game, but another guy that I think has to have a big game is Jameson Williams.
Ooh.
I mean, show exactly why we traded up 20 spots to get you. You had a big touchdown, and I'm not saying this to hold it against him. Like Jameson Williams had a crucial play in last week's game. David Montgomery's not going to be there. To Flannel's point, like Marlon Humphrey isn't having the best season, but he is a premier corner in the NFL.
Sure.
Every team we want to Marlon Humphrey, and he follows. He's not a guy that stays on the left or the right. He's going to follow Amon-Ra St. Brown the whole game. So if Jamison Williams, with how talented he is, has a number 2 corner that I guarantee they're not going to be able to keep up with him man-to-man. And Baltimore runs man-to-man schemes all day just like Detroit. Kyle Hamilton's a good safety, but he's not a fast safety. I think Jamison Williams, both in the rushing game, I'd like to see him. Obviously, that's not out of control if he doesn't get any carries, but if he gets carries, make something out of it, and he needs to take the top off this defense just because there is no David Montgomery. You have to push those safeties and linebackers back somehow, and I don't think Craig Reynolds is going to do it. And if Jahmyr Gibbs doesn't get it going through the rushing game, I don't think that's going to do it either. I think they're going to put a lot of pressure on Jared Goff. That's going to leave the secondary a little vulnerable.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, even to this comment, Eric, about Jahmyr Gibbs, this is the game where Gibbs should have 10 to 12 targets. In this one, David says, Jeff looks like he sells sneakers on a marketplace.
Damn. Jesus.
On my birthday. Come on, David.
Give this guy a day off.
You couldn't let me live on my birthday, David. Oh. Gosh darn it. All right, let's talk defense, though. The player that I thought of, because I thought about this, and there's a couple ways I could go. And honestly, I don't think there's a wrong answer. You need everyone to step up defensively, of course, and offensively. But for me, where my head goes is Brian Branch. This seems like one of those games where his value is super important because he's going to be in the slot. You know, he can affect the run game just as much as the pass game, and you got screen passes. Like, you see him blow up a couple of those plays, too. I believe it was the Packers when he blew up a screen pass.
And Bijan, when he killed Bijan.
Yeah, and Bijan as well. I think this is one of those games where Brian Branch has to just be all over the place. And he has the ability on a game-to-game basis, Sam, to lead the team in tackles, and they're going to need him this week. Another one, I'll give a little side note, Anzalone, because of that spy. I mean, I don't know how – I'm curious how Aaron Glenn plays Lamar Jackson, but I would say a little mix of Jack Campbell and Anzalone, the linebacker core, Derek Barnes. Linebackers have to step up this game. They're going to be key for a victory defensively.
Those are some interesting ones. And I'm going to kind of piggyback a little bit. I don't necessarily want to choose a specific player, which is why I'm glad you went with who you did. I think it's whoever is most integral in stopping Lamar Jackson on the ground, one, and Mark Andrews through the air. Because obviously Zay Flowers, I'm not disrespecting him. He's actually their leading receiver, and he's having a hella rookie season. But the Lamar Jackson to Mark Andrews connection has been rolling over the past few years or so, and Mark Andrews is Lamar Jackson's favorite target and one of the best tight ends in the NFL. But what also Lamar Jackson is the best runner of the football from the quarterback position that has ever played. He's a guy that if he racks up a couple more 1,000-yard seasons, you could think of him as maybe the Hall of really good just off of being a running back. I'm exaggerating a little bit, but still. One of the few things that the Lions have done this year, one of the few ways in which they struggled, was in the first game at Kansas City, letting Patrick Mahomes get loose on a couple of scrambles. And obviously Patrick Mahomes has grown up to be brilliant at his pocket awareness, getting out and scrambling for first downs. But he's not Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson is the type of player that can kill you on the ground. He is their biggest rushing threat by far. And you're going to need someone, I think, to spy on him because Lamar Jackson's that type of quarterback more than any quarterback in the league. If you lose him, if you have everybody covered on like a 3rd and 10, Lamar Jackson can just take off for 10, 15, or maybe even more. He's the type of guy that can take it to the house on any play. And those are the type of games that break your back as a defense, and those are the type of games that swing games in favor for Baltimore. And then Mark Andrews as well. You don't want him to constantly be picking up 3rd downs, be that red zone threat. So that's where I'm looking for guys like Brian Branch and Tracy Walker to really step up. And I'm not saying stop him, but just kind of slow him down and make his job a little bit difficult. Because if Mark Andrews gets free releases and can kind of just go one-on-one and Lamar Jackson has time to throw, that is another way in which the Ravens can really hurt you. Because one thing that Lamar Jackson has always done well is throw the ball to Mark Andrews and his tight ends. It's always been his safety blanket, and I don't think he's going to want to change that in this game.
Tricia says, shout out to Tricia, by the way. We reconciled. All right, me and Tricia, we're fine now. She says if Alex Anzalone plays like he did against Tampa, Lamar will think twice. Yeah, you're going to need a big game out of Anzalone. We got people saying how Branch is key as well. They want Branch to be a spy for Lamar Jackson. I get all that. And you're gonna need a spy out there for Lamar. Even though he's not running as much, he's still a threat.
But he's still the leading rusher on the team, though.
That's what's crazy. He's the leading. And by the way, that Gus bus.
The Gus bus?
No, it's stopping in Baltimore and it ain't taking off. So I don't know what.
And I'm not saying he's that guy, but he's had, I believe it was I think he's had like 60 rushing yards for him over the last 5 games or something like that. So no, he's not gonna kill us. But as far as like, it's 3rd and 4.
Death by 1,000 cuts.
Don't let Lamar beat you. They're going to hand it to Gus Edwards, and you can get that 4-yard carry, and you'd be like, fuck. And that's where Gus Edwards gets annoying.
So death by 1,000 cuts. Those 2-yard carries are going to end up just.
He's good for 3-4 yards every time, but that's it. That's it. Justice Hill will get in there for a 9-yard rush.
He's got a ceiling in the run game. That's fair.
And that's the thing about Baltimore, and I know we kind of laugh at it now, especially since J.K. Dobbins was out. Even without Lamar Jackson, I mean, Justice Hill and Gus Edwards, it's not like they've been lighting the world on fire, but they are just as running backs better than the running backs they had at Carolina and Tampa Bay, just off of their running backs. And I didn't even include Lamar Jackson. So this running game, when you include Lamar Jackson, the Baltimore Ravens, is one of the tops in the league. And obviously the Lions have the best rush defense in the league, but Lamar Jackson is a different animal. The way you have to game plan to stop him is not the same as even some of the best running backs in the league, like Bijan Robinson.
Yeah, it's very different. Even for like Lamar, and I'm curious because we haven't really seen the Lions tested with a running back that's this dynamic. I mean, Desmond Ridder can kind of run. Like there's guys like Geno can break away, like Patrick, same thing. They can break away and like kind of like Trevor did last night. But guys that are like
designed
home run hitters, like they played Fields last year, but I think this defense is just more mature. Like if they face Fields this year, I don't see, and we'll see what he's got that thumb injury or whatever the hell it was. But like someone like Fields, I think they're much more prepared for someone like that this year. I think they understand where they went wrong last year, and Fields broke off a couple times. I remember that like 80-yard run he had against the Lions, and Jeff Okudah just couldn't catch him. Shout out to Jeff Okudah, by the way. But regardless, I think the Lions are much more prepared to handle a guy like Lamar. He's gonna make plays with his legs, but it's contained. It's not breaking containment. Sure. And I think Aiden being another year older and the rest of this defensive line, hopefully the whole not allowing guys to break containment kind of comes alive Sunday, because if you allow this man to get outside the pocket, not only can he make plays outside the pocket with his arm, because he showed it this year, but man, with his legs. Well, especially in the red zone.
Oh, 100%. And that's where it's huge for the linebackers and safeties, because Aiden Hutchinson and Aleem McNeil, I think that they're going to be able to pressure Lamar Jackson. But even even MVP Lawrence Taylor and Defensive Player of the Year 2018 Aaron Donald, when you pressure Lamar Jackson, he is going to escape at some points. And that's where you need the linebackers and the safeties and to be disciplined as a pass rusher as well, because you can't – I mean, Lamar Jackson is just so dynamic. And I'm not saying Aiden Hutchinson and Aleem McNeil won't get to Lamar Jackson, but Lamar Jackson is going to be flushed out and have opportunities to make plays with his arms or his legs. And that's where the defense, and as I mentioned before, guys like Anzalone, Jack Campbell, Derek Barnes, Tracy Walker, Brian Branch are going to have to stay disciplined. It's a tough matchup. I mean, I'm not as high on Lamar as some, but I can just imagine him being such a headache for defensive coordinators because him at his best – can kill you in so many ways, and even when you have everything played right.
It's crazy to think, too, for Lamar. Like, you look at his first year in the league, he only had almost 700 yards, but ever since then, he's essentially, like, and he played in 12 games in 2021 and then 12 games in 2022, and he only had 700-ish yards. And he's on pace to have 1,000, but he had after this rookie year, he had 716 games. If he didn't get injured in those 2 years, he'd basically have 1,000 every year.
That's insane.
Rushing.
And he has a legitimate NFL arm now.
Yeah. So, yeah. Like, and I saw someone comment, why are we talking like he's Mike Vick? No, he's that guy. I think people kind of sleep. He's not doing it as much this year, but to your point, Sam, he still leads the Ravens in rushing, and he's on pace for 1,000.
Wait, who said something about Michael Vick?
I have to find
Lamar's
the comment.
best season was on the ground, at least, was better than Vick on the ground, too.
I mean, if we're just
the real K. Collins talking about Lamar Jackson like he's Mike Vick.
He is Mike. He's better than Michael Vick as a runner.
He's one of the
better than Michael Vick as a runner.
Yeah, he's one of the most dynamic guys running the football. Now, Mike Vick has a much stronger arm, but we're talking about running the football, man. Like Lamar's that guy. All right, let's go to break. When we come back, we'll get into a conversation that I want to have with everybody here, and let's revisit our Lions record predictions. I thought of this the other day. And I want to see where everyone's head's at. If you're drinking the Kool-Aid, how much Kool-Aid are you indulging on? Where's your record prediction at right now? And I thought about this. I'm excited to share my answer. We'll do all that when we come back from break. But first, we got to hear about our friends over at Guardian Alarm.
Of course, a hell of a defense. Let Guardian Alarm offer you customized solutions from real experts. Our professional technicians take the time to recommend security and automation solutions specific to your needs. 24/7 professional monitoring. Call us anytime, day or night, and know that a Guardian team member will stay on the phone as long as needed. Technology backed by people. Your safety and security deserves technology that's been proven to work and people who have been proven to care. Call 1-800-STAY-OUT.
Stay out.
That's 1-800-STAY-OUT. Guardian Alarm, your local security experts.
Now, coming to Woodward Sports, Woodward and Main Street, the Woodward Sports Network Detroit Lions show.
Hey, this is Mr. Kearney, Chief Academic Officer, Academy of Warren, I want to welcome you to the brand new field house. The state-of-the-art facility has a regulation basketball court, volleyball court, soccer field. It can be used for 7-on-7 football. Our K-8 academic features AM, PM, latchkey, small classroom sizes, learning street, futuristic media center, free breakfast and lunch, Holton Mifflin curriculum, academic games, K-8 athletics, and more. Enroll today at academywarren.net.
Join Woodward Sports' own Jeff Iafrate, along with special WSN guests for the most anticipated Lions season in decades. Filled with different surprises and expert analysis. You're not going to want to miss out. Go to our Woodward Sports YouTube channel on Sundays and tune in live from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m.
For over 60 years, Fairway Packing Co. has provided Michigan's finest restaurants, hotels, and casinos with prime beef, Wagyu beef, and dry aged beef. Visit the steak shop in Grosse Pointe Woods and for grab-and-go steaks, or order online at fairwaypackingco.com. Welcome back, everybody, to the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. We appreciate your presence on this Dispo Friday. We're out in Romeo, celebrating the way that I think we should. We're with our friends over here, and, of course, we got a lot of Lions-Ravens today. We're previewing this Sunday. And for those who don't know, really quickly, because we're going to get into Michigan State stuff later, but if you want programming on Saturday to tune into, we got the college pregame show with Sam Flannel and Spencer Raxter, the resident Wolverine and resident Spartan fan. They're going to go at it Saturday for the pregame show. And then, of course, we have the live stream after that. What time is the pregame show?
The pregame show is 5:30 to 7 on Saturday.
Okay, and there you go. So tune in 5:30 to 7, and then we have the live stream with the boys at 7:30. You can tune in. All the Woodward personalities watching. You got Booner. Some Michigan fans are going to be there as well. Some bets will be placed. So, again, you got to lock in on Saturday for the Woodward Sports programming. Let's get into our updated record predictions, and I thought it'd be fun. And Speakeasy says, happy birthday, Beanie Boy. Appreciate you, Easy. Easy's the GOAT, man. I love him, man. That's big bro. All right, let's get into the schedule for this year, because I thought it'd be fun to go through, instead of just saying what our record prediction would be, let's go through the rest of the games, and we'll all, as a team, take our record prediction, okay? We can all vote on wins and all that stuff. So the Lions are currently 5-1, and this is where it gets tricky, because we're going to give away our Baltimore prediction, but we won't give away the score because we got to count the Baltimore game in this record prediction. So let's go forward with it. And Lucas, if you want, if it's not too much, you could put a poll in on a game-to-game basis, and we'll see what people think. I know. Lucas Klotz, and I'm not talking K, I'm talking C. But regardless. That was mean. Okay, let's start with the Baltimore game. Okay, they're 5-1. Boys, what do we expect? W or L? I know this is tough. We got our game predictions later, but you'll find out the score later. But in terms of just the result of the game, how are we feeling about Baltimore?
All right, so since we're playing this game, because my overriding thing about their record is more broad than that, I'm going to go W.
W? Okay.
I know this is going to sound a little bit homer, but I do think there are ways in which the Lions can exploit the Ravens, particularly in the passing game. And I know a lot of people aren't going to like this, as much as Lamar Jackson, he's not a bad passer. I think anybody who says that is still a little bit ignorant, but I still don't trust his arm as much as I fear his legs. So I think the Lions will win that game.
I'm gonna agree with you, Sam. I think this is a close win from the Lions. I won't give away the score prediction, but I'll go win as well. What do you think, Lucas?
I'm going to go with the dub. Close dub, but I don't fucking know.
I know it sounds like we're drinking Kool-Aid.
And because the thing is like, let's say the Lions go and lose. Like, I am not going. Like, obviously I'll be upset, but
I don't think
no should hit a panic button. No one should be calling for anybody's jobs. If Jared Goff goes out there and throws 2 interceptions, I don't want to hear any Jared Goff slander.
Right.
Like,
I'm with you.
It could be either way.
So we'll get through that. JB, give me a head shake. What do you agree? Win or loss? I got to get JB's thoughts on this. Voice of reason.
This is an easy win.
Easy win, JB. Okay, I'm with you.
Easy win here. What are we talking about?
So this is a sweep from the Morning Woodward Show crew. So they're 6-1 right now, and now they got Monday night in Detroit facing the Las Vegas Raiders. Guys, it's a win. I'm not scared of Jimmy G. No one's scared of Jimmy G. No one's scared of Josh McDaniels. Yeah, Jimmy G's out. If you got to face Brian Hoyer, I mean,
Aiden O'Connell.
Give me it. give me Brian Hoyer right now. It's like Max Kellerman. Give me Iguodala. Well, give me Brian Hoyer. All right, they're going to destroy him. So I'll take the Lions on that one as well.
I am going to go with the Lions, too. And this is for you, Matt Broder, because I just saw you in the chat. I am more fearful of Brian Hoyer and Aiden O'Connell than I am that bum Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy Garoppolo blows.
Yeah, and Sappy Johnson says, how is Hoyer still in the league? It's like one of those guys you're like, wait, how did he get in here? Like, it's Brian Hoyer. He's still
Bald ass head walking in the locker room. Who the fuck?
Who the fuck is that guy? He's hanging around. Okay. So that's a W. I agree with you guys. Lucas, you'd agree? I mean,
Yeah,
I don't think you're going to argue for the Raiders. So.
I think that's a game that gets ugly. Monday night in Detroit.
Oh, yeah.
My God.
I think it could rival that Chicago game, how loud it was. Because if they win this Ravens game and then you got Monday night, they're 6-1 against the pitiful Las Vegas Raiders. That place can be rocking. Mm-hmm. And that's before the bye week.
And J-Mo, if he scores at home on Monday night primetime, people are going to go crazy.
Yeah, 100%. So I'll go. I'm with you guys. I think JB agrees. I'll speak for him because there's no way he's making an argument for Jimmy G. I won't let him. I will not let JB do that. So, you said what'd you say?
Lomas Brown night.
Oh, they got to. Yeah, they got to blow him out for Lomas Brown. Okay, 7-1. Now we're at into the bye week. We come out of the bye week. We face the Los Angeles Chargers. You know, Justin Herbert, pretty damn good quarterback. Brandon Staley stinks, but you know what? They got talent. How we feeling? You're on the road. You take on the Chargers. You travel to L.A. This is coming off a bye week. Oh, I know it's tough. Because, you guys, let me just preface this before we get into that. Just because you pick a loss doesn't mean losses are going to come. Some stinkers are going to come. It is what it is. So just because if you think a certain way, it's okay. What do you think? Chargers?
Loss because the Lions aren't going 16-1. As much as much as they seem unbeatable, as much as the Lions literally in their last 16 games, you could argue have been the better team in 15 of them, and all of the ones except the Carolina game last year, losses are still going to come. And as much as you guys don't like him, as much as people want to say he's mid, Justin Herbert is a great quarterback, and I think in this game it's one of those random games where he lights the Detroit Lions up. I'm sorry.
Your hero.
He is my hero. I love Justin Herbert. I have to like deal with all the slander.
This is where I'm at because if I pick a loss here for the Lions, it has nothing to do with how great Justin Herbert is or how great the Chargers are. It's just one of those things where it's like, hey, they might just put up a stinker. But at the same time, I don't think it's against the Chargers. Is that crazy?
Okay.
No.
Like, I think Justin Herbert, it's going to play out exactly like this. And clip this. 2 minutes left. The Chargers are on a drive to tie the game up with a field goal. Justin Herbert throws a pass to Keenan Allen, picked off by Brian Branch. End of game. Just like Justin Herbert does typically, unfortunately.
Just like the 14-game winning drives he's led, which nobody ever talks about. The rookie record for touchdown passes as a rookie.
Herbert's great, but I'm telling you, the last 2 minutes, he's going to go on a drive to try and tie the game or win the game, and then he's going to get picked off by Brian Branch. So you know what? Give me a win. Right. But you know what that means, though? We're tied. We still have two to break the tie. So what do you guys think, Lucas and JB?
I have a question for the stand. Would I be able to change my mind about a prior pick?
Yeah. I mean, you're going to lose because three of us were all against it.
Yeah. I'm going to go. I think the Lions, the more I think about it, I think the Lions are taking L this weekend. So I'm going to say Lions lose this weekend, but I think they beat the Chargers. Because I was just thinking about it, and I'm like, I don't see them losing to the Chargers at all. But to your guys' point, the Lions are not going 16-1, and I think there's just Baltimore at home. They're rolling right now. They're coming back from London with a big win. Like I think they lose a close one, like 17-20. I know we're doing that next segment, but I think like that. So I'm gonna go loss to the Ravens. They're gonna beat the Chargers. Though I don't think the Chargers defense has a glimpse of hope in stopping this Lions offense.
To be fair, Lucas, if you had to pick a win, Chargers or Ravens, I would pick the Ravens.
That's
like
what
they're
I'm saying.
a better
I'm just thinking about it. I'm just like, eh. And I said it even on the postgame show after the Buccaneers game. I was like, yeah, I don't think they're gonna be able to beat the Ravens. So I'm just gonna stick to my guns as much as I don't want to.
Okay.
Win against the Chargers, loss against the Ravens.
Yeah, JB, come on, voice. What do you think? Because now we got two wins. I guess you pick a win against the Chargers, though, right, Lucas? But JB, what do you think?
Well,
because you said they blow the Ravens out. So where are you at with the Chargers?
Damn it, Jeff! Now you didn't put this in my head. Now about the last second that Brian Branch can probably sneak in there.
I sold you on it
and just steal one from Justin Herbert. Even though, I will admit, Sam, he is a decent quarterback. He's a very good quarterback. We can't downplay that, but.
Okay.
Just to set up scenario that you put out there, Jeff, I'm kind of leaning towards that will be a win, and I kind of want to change my Ravens pick as well, too.
Man.
Just because, as you guys said, they're not going to go undefeated the rest of the way throughout the season. There has to be some kind of loss in here. So if I got to choose one.
You guys are making me think.
It would probably be the Ravens L, and then this Chargers a win. It's all because of you, Jeff. All because of you.
Yeah, that's, you know what, guys, damn it.
We're all backpedaling right now.
No, I'm not backpedaling. No. I can't do it. I'm not backpedaling like
Okay.
I can't backpedal like Prime. I can't do it. You know, I'm sticking to my guts here.
There you go.
I'll stay consistent. I think they win. You picked a loss against the Chargers. This is confusing now because we got two. Now we're tied with a loss to the Ravens. So it's 2-2. What does the chat think?
I'll put up a poll.
That's the tiebreaker. That's the tiebreaker, guys. What do you think? Are the Lions, are they losing against the Ravens? And then that'll be the decision. We'll mark that down as the result.
I'll put which is more likely.
Okay. Because now we're 2-2 for the Ravens. I mean, we got to have the people decide, the tiebreaker. And then we'll move on. But right now, the Chargers, I mean, we all agree it'll be a win there, except for Sam.
Yeah, I
so
say
you
loss.
just get outvoted. But
That's
we'll
all
see.
right.
We'll see which way the Ravens game goes. Because
all
right
right.
now if they win, they'd be 8-1 with the Ravens win. Let's see. And you guys feel free. Polls live right now. Which is more likely? Ravens loss, Chargers loss, and we'll whatever people like, we'll go with that one. And people are going with the Ravens. Okay, it's already a blowout, so we'll change that. So right now they're 7-2. That's fair. Okay,
It's a great record.
that's still a great record. Yeah, it's still an amazing record. You're still going to win the NFC. I think that would still be an NFC contention.
That's
7-2.
what I was going to say, yeah, because
Sure.
I mean, we've already talked about Philly's record. Or Philly's schedule. They got a brutal schedule upcoming.
Yeah, they do. Let's get
Miami this week.
Oh, that's going to be a good game.
Yeah, I don't know. If you
You
look,
think it'll be a blowout?
I think it very well. Not a blowout, but you talk about like a 10, 14-point game. Like
Yeah.
Philadelphia's secondary is suspect, and
Yep.
Mike McDaniel just gets the ball out of Tua's arm quick, and so that pass rush from Philly might not be able to get to him as they want to. Raheem Mostert off the edge. They don't have the speed to keep up with Miami at all.
Yeah, that's
all.
fair. Darius Slay, I'm telling you, love him. One of my favorite players to watch as a Lion, but he's not the same. But you know what? Let's go to break. When we get back, the people can vote, and then we'll go after the Chargers game because they're 7-2, and now they're welcoming in at home Chicago and Green Bay. So we'll talk about those when we come back. But first, I got to tell you about our friends over at Big Boy because, listen, burgers and chicken sandwiches are taking over at Big Boy. You could try the best cheeseburgers or the new Brett's bacon cheeseburger, Craven Chicken. They got it as well. You can upgrade your regular fries and get chili cheese or loaded baked potato fries, but you could save room for dessert. Like always, dessert's the best. And you indulge in the Big Boy's Reese's Chocolate Peanut Butter Thunder Cake or satisfy your sweet tooth with Big Boy, their funnel cake fries. All that and more. We'll see you in a little bit. We'll be right back after the break. This is the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network.
Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot-off-the-press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel. Join Woodward Sports' own Jeff Iafrate, along with special WSN guests for the most anticipated Lions season in decades. Filled with different surprises and expert analysis. You're not going to want to miss out. Go to our Woodward Sports YouTube channel on Sundays and tune in live from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m.
Let's talk about Outdoor Equipment Company, official equipment provider of Woodward Sports, Michigan-grown, family-owned, Bad Boy mowers, tractors, STYL handhelds, and even weed whippers. Liberty trailers, Generac generators, Snow X plows, and salters. Outdoor Equipment Co. has it all. Buy it, rent it at 0% financing, delivery to your doorstep. Visit their website at outdoorequipco.com.
Let's continue what we've been doing, which is our updated Lions predictions, record predictions. We're going through the schedule, picking out some Lions W's and L's here. We're trying to come up with a schedule. So right now, through 9 games, they're 7-2, which, is great. It's a great schedule. It's a great record. I mean, it puts you as a contender in the NFC for the conference, but you're also already way ahead of your division. 7-2 would solidify that to me. But we got Chicago at home. That's the next 2 games. We have Chicago at home, and then we have Green Bay for Thanksgiving at home as well. Those 2 games, and I'll just say this, man, like, you're sweeping both those teams at home. I just think in the Packers before the season, Sam, and this is where I've came around. I thought they'd split with the Packers, but man, like after seeing game one, I just don't see how, unless Jared or this team just completely melts down, I don't see them losing a game against the Packers. I think they sweep the Packers, and then the Bears, maybe you can argue, but even then, I think they essentially almost sweep the NFC North. So I got these next two games, Bears and Packers, as wins. I do.
Yep, I'm going to make this very, very brief. The Lions win these next two games by a combined 30-plus points. Combined.
You guys agreed? Next two games?
We don't even need to waste the breath.
Yeah. Okay, 9-2 now, boys. 9-2, and now they're on the road. This is a road trip. They go to New Orleans, and they go to Chicago. Next two games. That New Orleans game, I could see being a good one. Is it? I don't know if it's on 1 o'clock, which should be that would be a good game at like 4 o'clock.
Be a good flex game, yeah.
Yeah, it would. But regardless, traveling to the Saints, I think they beat the Saints, but it's close. I think that'll be a close game. It could be a game that maybe sneaks up on you, but just the Saints just look inept. Like they don't look like the Saints, at least I thought before the season. I thought they'd have a winning record by now. They'd be leading their division. Derek Carr, Lucas's guy, would be playing pretty well. But they just don't look like the Saints. I'll go Saints in Chicago. I might have to go with another sweep there, Sam. I don't see it. Maybe Chicago sneaks up on you in Chicago, but Your boy Khalil Herbert maybe runs for 100. Who knows? But no, I'm gonna say they win the next two games at New Orleans, at Chicago.
I will never get over my hyping up Khalil Herbert, thinking that the Bears were going to be decent. Obviously, I was wrong. Although Khalil Herbert looked okay when he was healthy. But you know what? This isn't a Khalil Herbert segment. I am going to go with a sweep in those games as well.
Okay.
The New Orleans Saints, to me, when it's all said and done this year, will be looked upon as the most disappointing team. Because, I mean, Derek Carr hasn't looked great. I thought he would elevate this offense. They can't run the football. They were without Alvin Kamara for a while, but even with him, they can't really run the football. They're not dynamic. They can't put up points. And I think that's one of those gritty 21-16 sort of style wins. I think they win in New Orleans, and obviously at Chicago. I'm not worried about them at all. The Chicago Bears will finish this season with 3 wins. And none of them are coming against the Lions.
It's generous.
What do you guys think on the road? So you got 2 wins there. I got 2 wins. Lucas, JB, what do you guys think? At New Orleans, at Chicago. Are they 2-0 in that stretch?
At New Orleans is going to be a win. It's going to be tough. That defense is very physical. So I think it's going to be one of those things where Dan Campbell said last week, offensive line, it's like banging your head up against the wall when you're going up against that front seven. Same type of thing. Marshawn Lattimore, very good corner, probably going to follow Amon-Ra St. Brown. But I just think the talent, the coaching, there's just levels there. So like a 24-20 type of game, like you guys were saying, it's going to be a close one, though.
And this is a return to home game for Dan and Aaron Glenn. They're going back to the roots. Anzalone is this is the revenge game.
That's a tough place to play, though.
It is.
You heard it last night. Like, that place gets rocking.
But Dan's very familiar with what Dennis Allen wants to do defensively. So you got a sweep too, Lucas? Okay, sweep. I'm assuming JB. I swear to God, your Bears do not say loss. It's a sweep, JB.
No, this one's going to be a sweep as well. I kind of agree with you guys. The Saints game is going to be very difficult. It's going to be a lot physical than the Lions expected, but I definitely think it's going to be one of those gritted-out type of win things. Hell, it might come down to that last-second field goal, and it could be a very low-scoring game, but it's definitely a win just because you can't downplay that Saints defense.
That's fair. That's very fair. Now let's move on here. The Lions are 11-2, which, again, NFC contender. That's what that means. If you're in the conference, that's one of the best. I think personally 13 might be enough to win this conference. We'll see what San Francisco does, but I think 13 wins is enough to win this conference. And it's more than enough to win the NFC North, that's for sure. I don't think another team will have double-digit wins. So, yeah, you'll definitely already have it in wraps right now. But 11-2, next 4 games, at home against Denver, Sean Payton versus Dan Campbell, love that, his mentor throughout his days in New Orleans. And then you go on the road to Minnesota the next 2 games. Boys, what are we thinking? The fraudulent Broncos, who knows if Russell's even starting by then, and then you go on the road to Minnesota, which they did lose last year.
Sure.
And I think Justin Jefferson will be back by this time, so we'll see. Defense, improving a little bit for the Minnesota Vikings. What record do you got? Broncos at home, on the road against the Vikings.
I got a sweep in that one. The Broncos game, I think, is going to be one of the more lopsided games of the year. I wouldn't be shocked at all if the Lions put up between 35 and 42 in that game and they only give up like 17 or 20. The Broncos are terrible. And it's not even all Russell Wilson's fault. They just can't stop a nosebleed. And the Lions have a pretty damn good offense, which we all know. The at Minnesota's interesting because before the year, I picked and kind of preyed on their downfall. And I think for the most part, I've been proven correct. But I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think Minnesota, even though they lost a lot of good players, their defense has actually, I think, played better this season. A lot of people have stepped up. And that's one way in which I was wrong. Brian Flores has absolutely made a difference. It's just that I don't.
What's wrong, Flannel? What are you thinking?
Say it, Flannel.
Are they splitting?
No, they're not splitting.
Okay.
The Lions are
thinking?
winning this game. I think that the Vikings might be able to get some things done in the passing game. I wouldn't be surprised if the Lions give up, 21, but they're going to win that game something like 27-21. They're going to sweep those games.
Oh, I like it. Okay. Sweep through those two games. I want to read this comment. Jeffrey says, good name, by the way. He says, what do you say? Broncos might actually be the biggest threat that stretch.
Okay.
No, I wouldn't. That's a little aggressive. I wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't say the Broncos are the biggest threat because we got another team coming up here in the next 2-game stretch that I think is a little bit bigger of a threat. But regardless, what do you think? Broncos and Vikings.
Is it sweep?
Sweep?
Just
okay.
Don't even need to. It's kind of like
no analysis needed.
No analysis needed. Better team at home.
Okay.
Give it to me.
What do you think, JB? Sweep?
Come on now with this. Like, is Russell still even playing quarterback at this point? Sean Payton hasn't choked the life out of him right in front of Jesus.
That's fair.
Right there. Come on. These are 2 easy wins, and I don't even know what the Vikings are doing to do with Kirk Cousins, whether they want to trade him or if he's still going to be on the team. So, yeah, easy wins.
So they only have 2 losses at this point, okay? Well, this is where we're at right now. Seattle and then, of course, the Ravens, which we changed afterwards. So they're 12-2.
I'll take that.
12-2 with 2 games left. Yeah, that's – 13-2 with 2 games left. Excuse me, because it's a 17-game season. 13-2 with 2 games left. At Dallas, home against Minnesota. I know people aren't going to hate me when I say this. I just have a feeling, and this happens, you have the NFC, unless they're competing for the NFC, maybe they do play guys. You could be in a situation where maybe they rest some guys against Minnesota late. Or, you're in a situation where guys are injured, you maybe just give them the game off. I could see them losing one of these games against Minnesota. Not because Minnesota's just big bad wolf. I just think it's inevitable. Maybe they sweep the division. I just think one loss comes somewhere. And maybe it's not the Vikings. Maybe it's Dallas. And you know how I feel about Dallas. They can have the regular season. We'll take them.
Number 1 team.
After week 2.
That was your
all right?
take.
That was week 2, which I, corrected that the next week. And Dallas has been 10 every week for me. So I learned, hey, accountability. It's key.
Very true. Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, by the way. Okay, that's fair. At Dallas, home against Minnesota, I think they lose one of these games. I do. Yeah. I'll say 1-1, do the 2-game stretch.
Yeah, I'm going to go 1-1 as well. And I know a lot of people aren't going to like this, but I do have the Lions losing at Dallas just because the Lions aren't going 15-2. And that's fine. That's fine. I think the Lions will. I mean, I'm not going to spoil the rest of my predictions, but the Lions, they are going to be fighting for the 1 seed in the NFC. And they're still going to be able to do that despite losing at Dallas. Dallas, as much as we don't like them, as much as we kind of downplay them, the Cowboys, at least over the last few years, have been consistent regular season winners. And going on the road to Dallas, like you saw last year, is tough, especially when they have a lot of good players like Micah Parsons. I mean, Micah Parsons, I know a lot of you don't like him, but he is one of the best defensive players in the league. I mean, you even saw it in the Chargers game. One of the reasons why the Chargers couldn't execute that game-winning drive was because Micah Parsons made a play.
That was the only play he made.
Hey, but that was the biggest play of the game, though. Him and Stephon Gilmore.
Against that stout offensive line. He's been quiet lately, man. Just saying.
And you know what? It wasn't just him. It was Stephon Gilmore as well. And those are a couple of good players that this team has. And offensively, I like Tony Pollard. I like CeeDee Lamb. And hopefully by then, Brandon Cooks will be more involved in the offense. Or not hopefully, but for them. Hopefully for them, Brandon Cooks will be more involved in this offense. Going to Dallas, I just think it's going to be too tough for the Lions. But I do think they will win against Minnesota. I think they will blow them out because I think they will have something to play for, the number 1 seed in the NFC.
I'll say this. I mean, Micah Parsons better hope that Dak's going to fork over some of that money in his big contract to help him hit bail because Penei Sewell's putting that man in a jail cell. Unless, in a phone booth, whatever you want to call it, Dak's going to have to help fork over some money for him to get out of that situation. But I could see a situation where they beat Dallas, but they lose to Minnesota. Don't ask me why it makes sense. It's just how it is. I think they're 1-1. Lucas, what say you? What do you think?
I'm parallel with you, Jeffrey. I think they go into Dallas. I think they beat that ass. I think Dak Prescott gets exposed again in a big game, and I think the Lions, they're just done losing to Dallas. They're done. And I think they come back, and I think that would make them. What would be the record then? 14-2.
Yeah. 14-3. If they beat Dallas.
Yeah, if they beat Dallas, it'd be 14-2. If you're 14-2, I don't give a fuck. Rest your starters. I don't care if you're fighting for, against Minnesota, especially, man. Like, if you have a huge injury against your divisional rival where you really didn't even play him because you had a 14-2 record, rest him. And that's where they'll lose, but I'm not going to be upset about it because they're going to go and have a potential bye or a first-round dub.
Yeah, I mean, the Eagles won the NFC last year with 14 wins. So, I think 14 wins will be enough to win this conference, rather. But what do you think, JB? 1-1 or 2-0?
I'm leaning 1-1.
Okay.
I'm leaning 1-1 here, only for the simple fact we played Dallas first, correct?
Yes, at Dallas, home against Minnesota.
Dallas will be the loss. Even though that's tough to say, especially Dak. I know he's going to throw a couple picks in this game as well. The battle between Penei and Micah Parsons will be fun, but I think somehow, some way, Dallas will mess around and get it done, especially since we're going to Dallas as well, too. But from there on out, yes, we'll probably eventually rest the starters, and then it'll just be Teddy Bridgewater game right there to win against the Minnesota Vikings. But like I said, they can't go undefeated. There is going to be some losses during the rest of this season. So this is going to be one of those.
And by the way, when we do this is why it's difficult, because when we go through each game and go win-loss, we're not taking into account injuries.
Sure.
So, of course, if Jared goes down for 2 games, this is going to change. We're going based off if the team's healthy, matching up with the opposing team, who wins. It's that simple. Now, it's the NFL. You're either hurt or you're injured. That is how that works. So guys are going to be banged up. Some guys may be out. You never know who's going to be next. It could be, Aiden for all I care. I mean, knock on the desk for that. I didn't want him out. But regardless, we just can't predict those things.
Sure.
So if everyone's healthy, we decided matching up with who they face, 14 wins. Is that what we all agree? Now, despite that's if the team stays healthy and we get all that. Okay.
Yep, 14 wins.
All right, 14 wins is the deal here. I picked 11-6. They're actually 3 wins better than what I thought. Now, there's going to be some stinkers in the NFL. Even if they win 13 wins, I mean, guys, who cares? They're one of the better teams in the NFC. Even if they don't win the conference, they're still a dangerous team, a team that I don't think anybody would want to face in the postseason, especially if they keep winning these games. All right, we'll go to break. When we come back, we'll get into a little bit of Jim Harbaugh, in-person scouting. Sam Flynn, I want your thoughts on that. We'll preview Michigan versus Michigan State.
Cool.
And then if we have some time at the end of the segment, we'll talk about Debo throwing some shots at C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Ooh. He said he didn't even know who he was?
We want the smoke.
He said he didn't even know who that man was?
He does. It's not like they played an NFC championship game last year or anything.
No, he's capping.
Showing weakness.
That's a lie.
He's showing weakness and insecurity.
Yep. That's amen. Amen, Lucas Klotz. All right, we'll go to break, but first, we got to hear about our friends over from Swiss Insurance.
Absolutely. Do you have football on the brain? Fall ushers in college and professional football, and this year has been awesome. Fall is also a perfect time to shop your home and auto insurance. Shop it like a pro with Swiss Insurance. They cover Woodward Sports Network, and they should be covering you too. Ask for Mark at Swiss Insurance today at swissins.com or call 248-800-4177. Again, that is 248-800-4177, Swiss Insurance.
Brace yourselves, Detroit. As the sun begins to set, 2 of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Spooner and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune in to the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Spooner and Broder.
Burgers and chicken sandwiches are taking over at Big Boy. Try our new pretzel bacon cheeseburger. Turn up the heat with Bob's Hot Chicken Sandwich. Upgrade those regular fries with our chili cheese fries or loaded baked potato fries. Hit your sweet tooth with funnel cake fries or Reese's chocolate peanut butter thunder cake. Load up on all your favorites today at Big Boy.
Now, coming to Woodward Sports, Woodward and Main Street, the Woodward Sports Network Detroit Lions show. Catch Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster for all the latest news on your Detroit Lions every week. Only on the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel and woodwardsports.com.
Just in time for the Lions and the Ravens game this weekend. Glorious Cannabis is dropping a new ice water bubble hash infused pre-roll. You guys know what time it is. It's called the Honolulu Blue. It smells so good. It's like the whiff, hopefully, of a Lions playoff win in 31 years. It's a gassy, aggressive strain named in honor of Detroit football. If you haven't had one of these ice water pre-rolls, you're missing out. They're so smooth. And we're at the place that sells them, Dispo. You can find them at Dispo Dispensary for 25% off. Check them out online at www.gloriouscanna.com. Man, what a show, man. It's flying by on a Friday here at Dispo. A lot of fun, man. We're chilling here. We're having some fun. We got the entire morning show crew. Brady's with us, the GOAT, the Michigan fan. I confronted him this morning about the whole Jim Harbaugh situation. He handled himself well. He did. Yeah. We put a lot of people on the stand here on the show, and, it was Brady's time, and he handled himself. And it's your turn, Sam Flannel.
All right.
Because I'll just say this about the whole Jim Harbaugh stuff. Okay. Like, that's how I feel about it. I don't really think it's the biggest of deals. I know people, the NCAA especially, has had a little bit of a vendetta against Jim Harbaugh. You can't argue what happened is not – by NCAA rules, it's not allowed, but technically scouting opponents, what Bill Belichick did, I get. Like, you're there recording things. But stealing signs, this is something that teams do and have been doing for a long time. I'm not going to say I agree with it, but, this is – any slight advantage you can get in sports, sadly, people do abuse that. And I have some statements I want to read. And thank you for that, Lucas. Here you go. NCAA investigation into Michigan's alleged sign-stealing operation includes a low-level staffer with military background. Jesus. Sending, Navy SEALs over there? What's going on, Jim? What's going on with that?
Brady, wasn't it like a Michigan defensive assistant they were looking at?
Talk to me, Brady. What's going on? Resident Michigan fan.
This guy is allegedly in the recruiting part of Michigan football, and not the analytics, but he's a big analytics guy.
Okay, so a Navy SEAL. No, but you're right. Sources say NCAA enforcement is seeking access to computer of an analysis Connor Stallions. Is that how you pronounce his name? Stallions? I'll take it. Investigation into his computer. And now I want to read some quotes because Ward Manuel came out, AD, the great Ward Manuel, that is highly regarded among Michigan fans.
No, absolutely not. Go ahead. Read the.
I'm kidding. But he came out with a statement. I know people were waiting on his statement. He says, I want to personally assure you that U of M Athletics will offer its complete cooperation to the NCAA in this matter. At the University of Michigan, all of us are committed to the highest standards, blah, 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 of ethics and integrity for all its members in our community. This is the same expectation I have for all coaches, staff, and student athletes. Given ongoing investigation, I have no comments at this time. There it is, that ending statement. It always comes. And that's what's going to come with Jim when they ask him questions. I can't comment on an ongoing investigation. But Sam Flannel, what do you take from all this? Is it even worth an overreaction? Where are you at?
Well, okay, there are many, many different angles where I can go with this. And first off, I want to say this because this guy never gets any credit in the chat, but Brandon Katz, teams are whining about Michigan because Michigan is kicking their ass. This story is pathetic. Thank you so much. Because, think about this. Think about
powers
this.
have aligned.
And this
Cats
is,
and flannel.
Cats and flannel. Cats and flannel right there. That was beautifully said.
The pairing we didn't know.
Absolutely.
We didn't know was coming.
Because
MJ and Pippen.
Because here's the thing. Michigan may or may not have bent the rules a little bit. I don't know. I quite frankly don't give a damn. But you get so many people, both on Twitter and in this chat, MSU fans, Ohio State fans, that are basically just calling Michigan guilty off of just these simple little allegations that are very, very hard to prove, by the way. You got Michigan State fans and Ohio State fans being like, oh, my God, you guys cheated. That's the only reason you won.
Oh,
Michigan State, you guys should focus on your poverty-ass football program that is not going to go to a bowl game for the second consecutive year and is about to get a 50 bomb dropped on you by Michigan at East Lansing, because now you done just made Jim Harbaugh mad. Now you just done made this team mad. And Michigan is going to massacre them, and it is going to be funny, and I am going to laugh. And that's the thing. Michigan State always takes so much pleasure, and every single time Michigan is even accused of something or anything, they have such a hard-on for Michigan. It is the most ridiculous thing that I've ever heard in my entire life. Focus on your program. And guess what? Remember after 2021 when you were talking about all this Tuck coming nonsense and the next year you won 5 games? Well, the only way in which Mel Tucker is coming is on the phone when he's talking to Brendan when he's talking to Brenda Tracy. So you guys can just take your poverty-ass program, take your L, and shove it.
Hold on. Man, this segment he spawned right on Michigan State fans. Are they really coming at you guys hard? I didn't know that.
And you know what? Let me just say this. Spencer Raxter, Griffin Lackey, this does not apply to you. You guys have been very, very respectful. We've had some conversations about it. Others, though, some in this chat even, some on Twitter, some very prominent names, it definitely applies to you.
Yeah, no doubt.
Take your L.
Yeah, and this is the thing, too, with the whole, even Ohio State fans, I saw that. Like, dude, are you kidding me? Like, are you kidding me? You have the audacity to assume that Michigan needed to steal signals to whoop your ass?
Make them ineligible from all bowl games in 2023.
Okay, all right. So
Ryan Day.
Let me just say this, and this is going to make me laugh. And, Lucas, even though I know you've been an Ohio State fan, you don't like Ryan Day. So how come after that – so Ryan Day, and I saw this tweet. I wish I could give this guy credit, but, like, it was one of the greatest tweets I've ever seen in my life. After Ohio State went into Notre Dame and beat them, it was a nice win. We all agree it was a nice win.
Yep.
Ryan Day in the postgame interview was just like, Lou Holtz said this wasn't a tough team. We are a tough team.
Did you hear him, like, literally right before the interview started? He's, like, talking to somebody to the side. He goes, watch this.
Yes.
He's like, I'm about to cook.
He's such a – no, you know how Neil calls Russ a douche, Russell Wilson?
Yeah.
Ryan Day's one of the biggest douchebags, I think, in the, like, entire United States of America, not even just limiting to sports.
And now –
he's a douchebag.
And now it's like, Michigan cheated. So which is it? Are you tough? Because you obviously weren't tough when you played Michigan and were basically dominated in the trenches both of the last two games, which has nothing to do with stealing signs, by the way. Yeah. Or are you not? And now you're like accusing Michigan of cheating. Just everybody in the Big Ten and everybody just take your L's and move on, because Michigan did not need to do this to win all of these games, because they are clearly the best and the most physical team in the Big Ten. And hey, all Michigan has to do this year, all Michigan has to do is just go win the Natty. Just win that damn Natty by any means necessary. And once they hold up that trophy, Jim Harbaugh, on camera, all of these.
Yeah.
All of these.
I mean, maybe.
What'd you say yesterday? Hey, Jim Harbaugh can take a little page out of my book.
Yeah, he can.
And, oh, by the way, I know I'm being a little long-winded.
No.
I have to also shout out another one, Chuck Brewer.
Chuck Brewer gets
You
it.
said this at the beginning.
Love Chuck.
And it was one of the most brilliant things ever said in the chat, but I didn't say it yet because we didn't cover this whole topic yet. So I know MSU, especially if Michigan wins the Natty, are going to cry and whine and wax poetic about how, oh my God, this win is going to get vacated. So if we're playing by your logic, therefore, Michigan is now the 2013 NCAA basketball national champions, because Louisville's win was vacated.
Yeah.
Louisville's win was vacated, and now John Beilein is the last Big Ten college basketball coach national championship winner, and not Tom Izzo. If you want to play this game, we can play this game.
Yeah, I mean, I could see if, like, Michigan was winning natties, and now they're coming out with cheating allegations. Like, you think they were stealing TCU's plays when JJ threw 2 pick sixes? No. Like,
but that was the game when they weren't stealing plays.
No, right.
I heard a very interesting figure on a different channel. His name rhymes with Lico Veerd. Might have been saying some nonsense like that.
Well, I can't comment.
I didn't say his name or anything,
no,
but it rhymes. It rhymes.
I got to step away from that one because I do know Rico personally.
Shout out. He was actually one of my instructors at Specs Howard, as he was.
I love Rico. I do.
But that was out of pocket.
But yes, and the other thing too, I mean, Sam, you talked about this Michigan defense. I mean, you said they're pretty good. I mean, maybe they need to steal some plays for Bowling Green. I don't know.
Maybe those boys from the 419.
Hey, Rutgers, you got to steal some plays from Rutgers, huh?
Greg Schiano, you got a game plan for him.
You have to. No, in all seriousness, Los Angeles, thank you for the $5. Says maybe states should worry about their own tuck and come and embarrassment. And even if the sign stealing is true, but doesn't everyone do this? Keep crying those L's.
That's the thing is, like, every program does this. It's just whether or not they get caught. But Flannel,
yes,
for the Ryan Day take,
okay.
I think we can shake hands on that. As Ohio State, Michigan fan, we can agree there.
Booner just sent some other articles for you, Lucas.
Yeah, they're coming in right now.
Yeah, if you could pull both of them, we'll put them up in order, if you can do that, and then we'll read them on screen for everybody, because this is kind of interesting. It's some more context in this, and we'll go to break and give our game predictions, but I want to give this out to the people. Tell me when they're up, because
the first one is going up. The first one's about, talking about.
You want to read it?
Yeah.
Okay, because I can't see it yet. All right.
So it says Stallions. This is the guy that they're talking about as far as what Brady said, the defensive analytic guy. Says Stallion, the graduate of United States Naval Academy, was hired as an off-field analyst at Michigan in May 2022, according to a bio on his LinkedIn account. Stallions wrote that he attempts to employ Marine Corps philosophies and tactics in the sport of football regarding strategies and staffing, recruiting, scouting, intelligence, planning, and more. Among skills Stallions wrote about in his LinkedIn were identifying the opponent's most likely course of action and most dangerous course of action, and identifying and exploiting critical vulnerabilities and centers of gravity in the opponent's scouting process. Bro, what am I reading right now?
They sent like a professional killer after these teams.
And then the second part reads, so this is in the same article, sources said the NCAA enforcement staff levels of interest is Stallions is so significant it sought access to his computer and part of its investigation. Sources indicated that the process is underway, although it's uncertain what the investigators will find. Attempts by ESPN to reach Stallions were not returned, so he's obviously not returning any calls right now. He's got a lot of smoke. He doesn't want to answer it. Michigan Athletic Director Ward Manuel did not return a request seeking comment. A source told ESPN the Wolverines have used an elaborate scouting system to steal signals from future opponents since at least 2021. So it dates back 2 years ago. With the ongoing NCAA investigation into Michigan recruiting coach Jim Harbaugh's potential facing additional penalties there. This separate investigation could significantly increase his exposure to additional suspension.
Wow. Yeah, so that man is essentially just a dude you don't want any smoke with.
He said a little undercover op.
Yeah, dude. Like, you sent, like, an intelligence member to do their thing. No, I mean, in all seriousness, this guy just seems like he's just an elite times 3, like, squared and cubed and all that on watching film. Like, this guy was, what was the terminology? I got to read this. I got to read this part.
I'll pull it back
He said, employ Marine Corps philosophies and tactics into the sport of football regarding strategies and staffing, recruiting, scouting, intelligence planning, and more. Identifying and exploiting critical vulnerabilities and centers of gravity,
bro.
What was this man doing?
He's trying to break their will with scouting. Just absolutely decompose them.
And for the record, if Michigan State wants to go do this, I'm not going to get mad at them.
Yeah, I mean,
just stop crying when you're poverty and you lose. That's all I'm saying.
I feel like this guy, imagining in my head, like he's on a corner smoking a cigarette, and he's just like sitting there like a hitman, leather jacket and everything.
Oh, no, he's got a Hagen, Copenhagen long cut. He's just sitting there, ripped jeans, Carhartt boots. He's probably got a flannel on like flannel, but he's fucking jacked. Ex-Marine, ex-Navy SEAL, whatever he is.
Certified badass.
He walks up to like all the he'll go to recruit. He'll just find the biggest kids around town and go, "You play ball?" He's one of those guys. You look like you play ball. Let me show you something. He's probably a military recruiter too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and by the way, for people that he says it's corp, it's core, not corpse. Okay, then there you go, Marine Corps. Regardless, the guy's
darn it, Jeff.
Regardless, the dude is an assassin. So you know what? We'll see how that trends. I think this is a big nothing burger, but you know what? We'll see what happens. It sounds like the NCAA is just pushing Jim into the pros. That's what I'm taking from this, and we'll see how it trends. All right, let's go to break. When we come back, we'll give our game predictions. In this comment, Joey 2 times. He certainly has a particular set of skills. Liam Neeson.
Oh yeah,
dude. MSU should hire Liam Neeson. That would be the move to get back in Michigan. There you go. Get Liam Neeson.
Terrifying to think like what Army and Navy are doing. Like the guys they got.
Yeah. What? Just taking people out?
The thing is, they got to recruit people to play football and like real life military now.
Shout out Alejandro Villanueva.
Yeah, no, seriously.
Yeah, for real. Let's go to break here. Like I said, when we get back, we'll get into the game itself, all that and more. We'll give our actual game predictions because now people are a little split in the room. So we'll see where this one trends. Okay. Well, but first, let me tell you about our friends over at Planet Fitness. Because it is the home of the judgment-free zone where anybody can get a comfortable and work on their fitness goals and get a good workout. At Planet Fitness, you'll experience a squeaky clean gym and all that has tons of equipment, full-body workout in just 30 minutes. And all memberships, of course, include fitness training. You can get all this for just $10 a month, no commitment. No matter where you are, there's a Planet Fitness close by. There are more than 50 in Metro Detroit and thousands more throughout the world.
Join Woodward Sports' own Jeff Iafrate, along with special WSN guests for the most anticipated Lions season in decades. Filled with different surprises and expert analysis. You're not going to want to miss out. Go to our Woodward Sports YouTube channel on Sundays and tune in live from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m.
Gabby is a college student struggling to study for her big exam. Then she discovered Syntron, a healthy way for her to stay awake and focus. Jennifer frequently has chaotic days like this until she gets online, orders some Syntron, and finds her groove. April visited her local grocery store, purchased a case of Syntron, and entered to win the Syntron 100K Vegas giveaway. Pick up your case of Syntron today at any Meijer location or visit drinksyntron.com/Vegas and enter for the 100K Vegas giveaway.
Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot-off-the-press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel.
The Academy Warren, let me tell you about a brand new state-of-the-art sports dome field house as a regulation basketball court, volleyball court, and soccer field. They can also be used for 7-on-7 football. They got features, small classroom sizes, academic games, free breakfast and lunch, futuristic media center, and much more. All at the Academy Warren. They're now accepting new enrollment. Go to theacademywarren.net. Welcome back to the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. It's time for our game predictions. But first, I do got to address this because Omar Adams, whose profile picture indicates he serves currently in, I don't know what division or anything like that, but he serves in the military. And I want to say, Omar, on my behalf and the Morning Woodward Show's behalf, thank you for your service.
Shout out, for real.
If it wasn't for you putting your life on the line and serving this country, we wouldn't be able to talk sports every day. So my apologies. I do not want the smoke with you, Omar. I do not. And I have appreciation for what you and many other people do in serving this country, man. There's nothing better. Love America. Go USA. All right, let's get into game predictions. Let's do it. Ravens, Lions. What do you guys think? Because I know we got some people over there tucking their tail, Lucas Klotz and JB. So, I get it. I get it. I'm not going to hate you for that. And Cy Gray, by the way, is U.S. Marine Corps over there, too. So, Cy Gray, thank you for your service.
Shout out all you guys.
Yeah, shout out to everybody in the chat that have served or just in general. I'll say my game predictions.
Okay.
I think the Lions I struggled with this last night.
Say it, Jefferson.
I did. I think the Lions win.
Ooh, yes.
But it's close. I think, and people yelled at me last week for this. Oh, you gave the Bucs 16 points. I'm going to give the Ravens 21 points.
Okay.
I'm going to say 27-21 or 24-21, actually. I think it'll be close. I think it's a field goal game just because you got two good defenses and two offenses that, again, they're very different. What the Lions do offensively is more in the passing game. They like to run the football, but what they've been doing at least last game, and they're going to need another big game out of Jared. I'm going to go 24, for the Lions, and I got 21 for the Ravens. Lamar breaks off. I think he scores with his legs. I do think that's coming this game, especially in the red zone. He's just hard to stop. But I do think they'll force an interception from Lamar Jackson, and the Lions come out of there with a win by 3 points. And Jared Goff, another big game, but I do think he throws a pick too. I think both quarterbacks in this game throws an interception, but the Lions come out with a win, 24-21.
That's interesting. I think first of all that the Lions will win this game 20-17. To me, this seems like a game where both teams are going to have a lot of long possessions, like long play drives where they kind of nickel and dime each other down the field. I think both teams will struggle to run the football with their running backs. I think Lamar will get loose for a couple, but I don't think it will be to the point where he kills this defense too much. I think Lamar Jackson maybe rushes for 60 to 65 yards on a couple of big plays, but ultimately they will be fine. I actually, believe it or not, especially with all the running back, with the injuries and the maybe uncertainties at the running back position, I think Jared Goff has a pretty big game. I think he throws for something like 250 yards and 2 touchdowns. A lot of short passes. Like I said before, expect to see a heavy dose of Amon-Ra St. Brown. I expect to see some of Sam Laporta, although the Ravens' safeties are pretty tough. So we'll see. I think that the Lions will be able to move the ball. I think they will score 20. And you know what I think will happen, which will be nice poetic justice? The Lions win this game on a walk-off field goal by Riley Patterson. Not 66 yards. He definitely doesn't have that kind of a leg, but maybe like 38-42. Riley Patterson kicks a game-winning field goal after Jared Goff executes something like a 7-play, 50-yard drive to get the Lions in field goal range. Lions win this one.
And by the way, shout out to Shane Daniel donating $10. Happy birthday, Jeff. Been watching for the past year and proud of the growth you've shown in the past year. Thank you, Shane. He says, have a drink on me. Well, unfortunately, that $10 does not go directly to me, but you know what? It's going to Woodward.
What a guy.
And that's fair. That's fair. It's all good, though. I appreciate you, Shane. Seriously, I do remember you. I remember everybody that's been around. So for you, you are the man. Big thanks to you. Lucas Klotz, what do you got? Talk to me.
I want to start this off by saying I hope I'm wrong about everything I'm about to say, but I think it's going to be a Ravens win. I'm going to go 21-17. I think the fact that David Montgomery's not in this game is huge. I understand they had a game without David Montgomery against Atlanta, but Baltimore and Atlanta are completely different teams. Baltimore is without a doubt way better coached. They're without a doubt way better at quarterback play and without a doubt better at defense. It's going to be close, but I think Zay Flowers, Flannel, I know you kind of hinted at, I think Zay Flowers is going to be kind of the thorn in the Lions' side the whole time. I think Mark Andrews, he's not going to be stopped, but he's going to do his thing. And I know we laughed at him, but like Gus Edwards, he's going to be just be annoying when it's second and short, third and short. He's going to keep the chains moving. I think Lamar gets a couple of plays going. I think the defense does play nice. I'm looking out for a Cam Sutton interception. He played in Baltimore. He played against Baltimore twice a year when he was in Pittsburgh, so I think he has a nice game because he's familiar with that team. But, I'm just going – it's a tough game, man. That's a tough ask to go into Baltimore. You're down your workhorse running back. I just think no Jonah Jackson either. I think it's going to just be a close loss. Close loss.
Close loss. What about you, JB? Where are you at?
Why you always hate?
Yeah, God, Lucas, you didn't pick a 40-point win. Hater.
Hate. Go ahead, JB.
A 40-point win. I think we've been kind of going a little bit crazy with these totals, so that's why with this one, I'll reiterate the same thing as Lucas. I hope I'm wrong on this one. Ravens take this one. It'll be a very low-scoring game, but the Lions will fight this all the way through and through. Final score prediction, Ravens 17, Lions 13.
Oh, hater.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. No, I'm kidding. We got two guys being realistic. Haters. No, that's fair. We got two. You pick a win, Sam?
I did.
So me and Sam are actually we're on a team today.
We believe. You didn't believe. No,
yeah,
you
got
the voice and reason and ball knower.
We've been in. Oh, my God. Yeah, who would you take? Sam
Douche
and
and Dork in the morning?
Yeah. Would you rather have Douche and Dork or the ball knower and voice of reason? I think that's a pretty easy answer.
Actually funny.
But regardless, there you have it. We're split. I want the chat's opinion. I'll read some opinions here. John says 45-6. Okay.
Easy.
Max
easy
Hines, shout out to you. He says 23-16. Let's get to some more Fogel, I think how you pronounce his name, or Forgel, however you pronounce it. 26 Lions. James Miller, 24-20 Lions. Joe Westfall, 24-17 Lions. William Rhodes says Jeff meat rides Lamar, LOL JK. Thank you, William. Nolan Johnson, my guy, says 30-20 Lions. Joseph Campbell, 31-21 Lions. And then there's Poke Pole Family, who says 40-17 Lions. There's always a couple of those. Lone Spoon says 22 years, 4 Marines, 18 in the Army, 3 tours in Iraq. Wow. That's badass. Thank you for your service.
Yeah,
Lucas
we'll do it. I'm sorry for laughing at the name, man. That you can do it.
You're like laughing. You're like, I'm just kidding. I do not mean that. No, appreciate your service.
Yeah,
big
seriously.
time. All the people. I mean, Joseph, 21-year veteran Marine Corps. I mean, Corps. Did not mean that. Disrespect. Don't beat my ass, Joseph. Appreciate you guys. Big Con, U.S. Marine Corps as well. Guys, seriously, there's a lot of guys a lot of veterans who watch the show, man. I love that.
Shout out.
Love that. Nothing more important than those guys, man. Take care of the vets. All right. We got the scores coming in. Matt Johnson, 24-21 Lions. Sean says 9-6 Lions. What a score.
9-6.
9-6. Sean.
Slobber knocker.
Sean, that's disgusting. If it's 9-6.
That's a game where you need David Montgomery.
That's a dog game.
That's actually a great point.
That's a
fantastic
That's
point.
that's like the Dan Campbell football. Low scoring, disgusting
That's
ass
damn near
game.
what Pittsburgh and Baltimore were.
Oh,
yeah.
they used to have some slobber knockers back in the day.
What is you in that word?
Yeah, you love slobbing on knockers, man. What are you doing?
Hey-o.
What does that mean? Define.
That just means like a hard-fought, hard-hitting, low-scoring game. Like a slobber knocker. Like you're
knocking slob.
Steve DeYoung says U.S. Marine Corps for 15 years. Jeff, every time you say corps, you owe me one push-up. Well, I said it twice, so I'm gonna do 2 push-ups. I'll even do it.
See it.
Want to knock them out?
Yeah.
How do you see it? You just have to know I'm doing them?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, hold on. Let me knock these out. All right, sorry, guys. I don't want my ass beaten, so let's knock these out, and then we'll go to break.
All right, I'm going to narrate those push-ups. Oh, does JB actually
Yeah, JB, get on the sticks, JB.
All right. I need you to actually, hit your chest on the ground, like real push-ups. You got this. All right. Jeff is in position. One up. No.
Oh, what are you? No.
There we go.
How old are you? You're 23, Jeff? One for each year.
Oh, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Tuck the elbows. Tuck the elbows.
All right. Hey.
Not bad.
That was beautifully done, Jeff. Very fine-looking push-ups.
I don't want the smoke, so I'm glad that hopefully should be good enough. Sorry about that, boys. Okay, Brady, what's going on? You take the headphones. Take the headphones. He said.
We back to the Michigan talk?
No. What are you going to say? Yeah, what are you going to say, Brady? Come on. I'm sweating now.
Michigan fired Don Brown in 2020.
Okay.
We started to get good when we hired McDonald and Minter, 2 NFL caliber defensive coordinators.
Okay.
That's all I got to say about that.
That is extremely relevant. Yeah. No more Dr. Blitz.
Yeah, no more Dr. Blitz.
Is Paris Campbell still running for Ohio State?
Lone Spoon says, as a former drill sergeant, I counted 3 push-ups.
Oh, dude, those were legitimate.
Yeah. John Fisher says, everyone knows 6 before the show's over. MCDC wouldn't allow anything else. It's all right, boys. I'll wear it on my shoulders.
You got 3 burpees next time.
Ooh. Oh, my gosh. Okay. Steve says, well done. Good form. Thank you, guys, for that. Don Beat says, he's red as hell now. Yeah, I don't know how – I ain't doing that. It's too early for that. All right. Let's go to break. We get back. We'll get to what's trending with Lucas. You got some stuff. Jadeveon Clowney talking that ish about Jared Goff.
Yeah.
What's going on? Called him Jeff Goff?
Something like that. It's a terrible name.
Jesus. All right, let's do that when we come back from break. But actually, we have nothing, right?
Yeah.
All right, we'll see you guys in a little bit. You're watching the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network.
Hey, this is Mr. Kearney, Chief Academic Officer, Academy of Warren. I want to welcome you to the brand new field house. The state-of-the-art facility has a regulation basketball court, volleyball court, soccer field. It can be used for 7-on-7 football. Our K-8 academic features AM, PM, latchkey, small classroom sizes, Learning Street, futuristic media center, free breakfast and lunch, Holton Mifflin curriculum, academic games, K-8 athletics, and more. Enroll today at academywarren.net.
Brace yourselves, Detroit. As the sun begins to set, 2 of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Spooner and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Spooner and Broder. Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot-off-the-press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel.
How would you like to win a $100,000 Vegas getaway? Take your friends and live it up in the city that never sleeps. It's a Cintron Energy. Drink it and live it. Purchase a 24-pack today and enter to win. Register at drinkcintron.com/Vegas and buy Cintron at your local Meijer store. Cintron, the healthier energy drink with great taste. Look good, feel great, and be the best version of yourself with Cintron. Visit their site at drinkcintron.com/Vegas.
You know what time it is. Check. I don't have a watch on, but if I did, I'd check it. There's no clock in here, but if it did, I'd check that as well. It's time for what's trending with Lucas. Lucas, what do you got for us?
You kind of already teased it. Jadeveon Clowney. At this point, I understand, Jared Goff might not be a Patrick Mahomes, but every defensive player needs to put some respect on Jared Goff's name and not say stuff like this.
Why are we fighting with everybody? What's going on there?
Let me go. Well, we'll play this one first. We'll talk about respect. I'll go get the Jadeveon Clowney one too. But C.J. Gardner-Johnson, Deebo Samuel beef. Here's the update on that. Sorry, we're making a quick transition.
What do I need to know?
What's so crazy? I ain't know a bro I have no idea where that even came from. He probably was just thinking about me or something. So I don't even know where that came from.
Did you see the IG Live?
Yeah, that was comedy.
Can we play it? Will you get mad if we play it? Oh.
No. It looked like you about to cry.
Bro, listen, don't be friendly when you see me. Because you be so flashy. You better hope, bro. You better hope all that talking you be doing when we see y'all, whatever round it may be. Because I can guard you. You can't run routes. You're a running back. I ain't going to sit here and play with you, little boy. Just because you got a little bag, people gave you a little clout, man, you ain't nothing, bro. Stop playing.
It just sounds like he mad I got a little bag and a lot of money and nobody knows who he is.
You sit next to Deebo sounded very similar. Nobody knows who we are. That guy just beat you in the NFC Championship game last year. So I just see a bunch of weakness and insecurity coming out of Deebo Samuel, and I hope somehow I get it. The 49ers are a tall task, but I just want to see CJ and Debo face off in the playoffs. And if that happens, it's usually probably going to be an NFC Championship game, so it'll be a good sign.
I don't hate the trash talk back and forth, Sam. I live for it. I love it. I love trash talk. But the thing I don't like is when people say, I don't know who that dude is. Unless he's actually a nobody. Like, it's a good diss if the dude's actually a nobody. Like, who? Who are you? Like, LeBron's done that. Like, there's guys who do that in sports all across. Like, who are you? C.J. Gardner-Johnson, that's not the one to do. Who are you to? That's a little ridiculous.
All right, many things can be true about this. I hope that the Lions get a chance to play the 49ers in a playoff game, hopefully the NFC Championship game, and that C.J. Gardner-Johnson plays and does a good job and maybe slows down Debo Samuel. But on the other hand, I think it's just back and forth smack talk. That's all it is. Because it's not just like Debo Samuel talked about C.J. Gardner-Johnson unprovoked or anything like that. C.J. Gardner-Johnson called him little boy, said that Debo Samuel doesn't have a bag and can't run routes and is a running back. I'm just saying, it's just
He's a DB. He knows.
It's equal smack talk. It's all it is. It's just back and forth.
Chuck says, by replying, technically, Jeff, he admitted he was somebody. Yeah, that's fine. This one says, Steve says, how does this have to do with anything with Goff and Clowney? Well, that's next.
Well, that's what I said. Yeah. I had to do a quick transition. I fumbled on that one, but
it's okay.
Speaking of that, Cliff, here she is.
Oh, Jadeveon.
Yeah, by far, yeah. Jeff Goff make them go. I think he's a smart quarterback, and their running game has been very, very dominating so far, and they're getting a lot of turnovers. Really they playing with the lead, and it's easy for you to play with the lead. It's going to come down to us up front, like I said, dominate the line of scrimmage and getting after the quarterback.
Jeff Goff.
Yeah.
Jeff Goff, QB1 of the Detroit Lions.
Maybe I'm different. Yes, should he know who Jared Goff is? Yes. But I just feel like with defensive ends, sometimes, Sam, you don't really need to know who the hell he is. Your job is to get whoever's back there. So I get, like, there's a lot of NFL players, guys, that don't watch football. Like, believe it or not. So, like, I don't think this was because he did compliment him. He just didn't pronounce his name right. It's Jared, not Jeff. Although Jeff's a pretty good name. Can't lie.
Hey, I mean, it is a very fine name. Arguably as good as Jared, but we shall see. But, here's the thing, and this might seem a little bit nitpicky because Jadeveon Clowney, he did compliment Jared Goff, and I am a fan of Jadeveon Clowney, but to me, that's a bad look because Jadeveon Clowney is one of the best high school and college defensive players that has ever lived. I thought he was going to come into the NFL and be the next, I don't know, maybe not Lawrence Taylor, but Bruce Smith or somebody that, be a super, super duper star. And he's been good. He's had some good seasons, made some Pro Bowls, had some 9-sack years, had some 20 tackle for loss seasons, many QB hits. He's a good player. But one of the, I would say, knocks against him is his motor. He'll have some games where he's very impactful and some games where he disappears. And the fact that he's calling Jared Goff Jeff Goff, it's just, are you really taking your study as seriously as you should? Because it's Clowney, it's okay to ask those questions because he has been good, but he has Hall of Fame talent, and he's not a Hall of Famer.
That's a good point, Flannel.
Yeah.
I like that. That's a good take.
Thank you.
Another good take that I saw, Detroit Lions yesterday. What they wore out to practice. Let me tell you, you could say what you want about those helmets and how they're going to match up with the uniforms, but they look damn good yesterday. Look at these. Look at these. Amin Rag and the refs. Look at those blue helmets.
Dude, they look so sick.
Those are elite. What are the old logo on them, man?
What color is the unis?
They're going to wear them with the all grays. They have to.
Which I don't.
Could you imagine with the all blue?
That's like
whites?
What they got right now looks fun.
If they wore these with the all whites, too.
I can't wait. They're whipping that out against Las Vegas, right?
Either that or Thanksgiving. Well, no, Thanksgiving they probably wear like their blue and
like the silver.
Throwback one. Yeah. But even if you do like blue helmet, white jersey, blue pants, be cool combo.
Yeah, the silver. Because I got the silver helmet unis that I like. And it's like the throw they use on Thanksgiving. Man, I can't wait. I can't wait for this helmet. It's sick. The Lions are, with the whole brand new Lions talk, I think part of that is uniform changes because although people really believe that creamsicle jerseys would have made an impact on last game, which is one of the most ridiculous things I've ever heard. But it is true. I mean, I guess how you feel, you play better. But I think there's a point to that. But it's just, like Deion said, man, I guess there is truth to it. You look good, you feel good, you play good, they pay good. So, it's a bar. Never forget it. All right, what else you guys?
That'll be it. Let's get into some mailbag.
All right, appreciate you. We'll get to mailbag, get your questions ready. We'll try to get to as many as we can. But first, we got to hear about our friend. We're doing Glorious.
Yes.
All right, let me tell you about our friends over at Glorious, guys, because, listen, again, you're going to be smoking that Ravens pack, hopefully, as a Lions fan. Even if you are, it's a win-win, because if you win, you smoke the Ravens pack, and if you lose, you smoke away your sorrows. I mean, it's okay. You can admit it. Try some Glorious Cannabis. They got a strain, Honolulu Blue. You can still smoke that. They got it at Dispo today. You can come check it out, 25% off, or you go online at gloriouscanna.com and get your products.
Brace yourselves, Detroit. As the sun begins to set, two of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Spooner and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune in to the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Spooner and Broder.
Since the dawn of moving people, Chevrolet has led the way. The world of transportation is changing. At Feldman Chevrolet, we are leading the charge forward. With every electric vehicle, every mile traveled, one Feldman at a time. The company that puts more Chevys on Michigan roads is now the #1 name for Chevy electric vehicles.
Burgers and chicken sandwiches are taking over at Big Boy. Try our new pretzel bacon cheeseburger. Turn up the heat with Bob's Hot Chicken Sandwich. Upgrade those regular fries with our chili cheese fries or loaded baked potato fries. Hit your sweet tooth with funnel cake fries or Reese's chocolate peanut butter thunder cake. Load up on all your favorites today at Big Boy.
Join Woodward Sports and Long Drink live every home game for the official VIP tailgate party. Lions VIP tailgate party. It's at Eastern Market in Shed number 5, and it is always a bash starting at 9:30 a.m. until game time. The official Lions tailgate is back and better than ever. How would you like to pregame it with Woodward Sports and be treated like a VIP? Food, beverages, and entertainment all included. Get your tickets online today at bullseyeeventgroup.com or win some from Woodward Sports today. Just subscribe to our YouTube, follow us on Instagram, and direct message Lions VIP.
We're back. It's the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network, and it's time for Mailbag. Morning Woodward Show Mailbag. I'm changing it because it sounds cleaner. We'll do it that way.
There you go.
Let's get to some questions. People chiming in. And I want to start with Cassid Reed because he's a valued member of the program, and he's starting us off with Mailbag here. Let's see. Does this MVP talk affect Jared, or we think he doesn't care? When they brought up the interception record, he immediately threw a pick. I'll be honest with you. I don't think those things are correlated. Number one, I don't think he cares about MVP because that's truly, I believe that about Jared. Like he always shuts that stuff down. He actually gets frustrated the more people bring up certain stuff, like individual stuff. You could just tell he doesn't care. And I don't think bringing up the interception record, I think that was just coincidence. I don't think he thought in the game when he has so much going through his head, oh no, I can't throw a pick. I'll break the interception. I'll break the record. No, it's not that deep. But Casson, I love you. I just don't think it affected him.
Yeah,
I don't think it's that big a deal.
I don't think he cares, Jared Goff, about the MVP as of yet. I mean, if he continues this stellar play and the Lions keep winning and Jared Goff continues to be near the top in the NFL in major statistical categories, I could see him being a fleeting thought at some point. But as of right now, it's about the team winning.
100%.
It is. That's all it is. I believe Jared has that mentality.
Yeah, no, I agree. Jenna Newman, happy birthday, Jeff. Thank you, Jenna. Appreciate you. She's been around since the jump. She saw the Jeff turn from Jeff to Juicy to Hollywood. She saw the gradual the growth there. George says, Jeff, Sam, great show, guys. Again, appreciate you guys. Let's see here. I want to get to this other question because I thought it was interesting. And essentially, it was who should have a bigger game. And I don't know who asked it. I want to make sure I give credit there. Tony D, mailbag. Jeff, who's a bigger impact, Gibbs or J-Mo? I'll say who has to, Gibbs. Like J-Mo, yes, I'd like him to have another game, maybe another touchdown catch. But without David, I think it's got to be Jameer.
Sure.
It just has to, Sam. That's where I'm at.
I mean, here's the reality, at least to me, how I see it. The Lions could win this game even if J-Mo doesn't contribute anything of significance. But if Jameer Gibbs doesn't, I think the Lions could be in trouble. That might be, to me, one of the reasons why the Ravens actually win. But I'm still picking the Lions. But Jameer Gibbs, especially if he's healthy, he's got to step up and and take the lead in this running back room, at least for this game. Do what you did against Atlanta.
All right, let's see. I see a question, and it's interesting. Michigan over under 24 and a half. Over.
Yeah.
Over. They have to. Over.
Well, and
I could see like a 37 win, but 24 to no, it's going to be 30 plus.
Yeah, and for the record, this was actually brought up early on in the chat. I'm going to respond to something that Honolulu Blue Sparty said, because he was calling Michigan fans arrogant. And you know what? We can actually break bread on this one, because he mentioned what the rivalry has been like since 2000. And I get it. There was a time right after John L. Smith and Bobby Williams for Michigan State when you guys got Mark D'Antonio, and we were in the Brady Hoke and the Rich Rod and Brady Hoke era. And from 2008 to 2015, you guys kicked our ass every single year, and Michigan was the poverty team at that time. Hell, the best team in their era was the 2015 team, and that one was the trouble with the snap season. And I bet it felt good for you guys. I bet it felt really, really good. And that's why Michigan fans feel so good right now, because I hate Mark D'Antonio with a fire of a million suns, and I hate Mel Tucker. Like, it is burning in me. It's too much. It's actually too much. I should get medicated for it. But it's just
you're at the place, Flannel.
That is true. It's just over lately though. Michigan has had Michigan State's, I wouldn't say in terms of head-to-head matchups, but since 2016, Michigan State, they had a terrible year in 2016. 2017, they were all right. You guys beat us. 2018, you guys were 7 wins, lost. 2019, you guys were 7 wins, lost. 2020, we both had a losing record. You guys beat us. 2021, you guys were good and you beat us. And 2022, we made the college football playoff and you guys were 5-7. So it's all cyclical. That's why maybe I'm more obnoxious now because you guys were pretty obnoxious back then, and that's okay. It's a rivalry.
Yeah, you know what? And to this comment, too, because people are chiming in, and Tammy, my mom's in the chat. Shout out to her.
Yeah.
Look at that. Happy birthday to my son. Wow.
There we go. And she's putting on with the Halloween decorations, I heard, too.
She is cooking. That is her thing. Okay. Let's see here. No M. And by the way, for people that are saying happy birthday, man, I can't respond to all of you, but just know I appreciate you guys so much. I do. I know it's a lot coming in, but you guys know I got love for you. Let's see here. Another question. Steve-O, Mailbag Sam, what'd you get Jeff for his birthday? Yes, Sam. What the hell?
It's
I'm kidding.
He's like, oh yeah.
My presence on the morning show.
Hey, my guy. That's all that matters. His presence, I appreciate. No one's getting me anything. I don't need no gifts, man. My gift is getting I'm able to do this every single morning with my guys.
Let's go.
That's the best gift.
Let's get him some hair product, Flannel. Me, you, and JB. We can all
get me some hair product.
Absolutely.
Give me some hair product. Okay, that's fair. Jesse, Mailbag, ask Sam if he's worried Jimmy isn't locked up yet, and does Ward need to be fired?
The answers to both questions are yes. Absolutely.
That's fair. Brady's shaking his head. He agrees
yes.
with you. Let's see. Noah M. Mailbag, Goff for $50 million or Hooker without much experience? You know the answer, Noah. It's Goff for $50 million.
Goff.
Yeah, give me Goff. I don't know what we got in Hooker, and I'm not willing to risk the momentum this Lions team has to throw Hendon out there and see what happens. I like Hendon a lot, but right now, how Goff's playing, Goff.
Yeah.
You have to. I mean, you have to. What's going on?
Keep it going for a second.
I got you, baby. All right. We're at Dispo from Jeff Iafrate, Sam Flannel, Lucas Klotz, JB, Brady Wood. You'll have Big D energy here, I'm pretty sure, and then the rest of the shows will be back at the studio. Until Monday, have a great one, everybody. We'll see you. All right, we're good.
We're good?
Now I can do a proper send-off, right?
Hey!
Thank God. All right, thank God. Again, I want to say appreciate you guys for joining the show, man. We appreciate you a ton. Thank you for all the birthday wishes. We were trying to get the stream back up. We're back. A little glitch in the internet, but we're all set here. Shout out to our friends at Dispo. Shout out to all the wonderful sponsors at Woodward Sports, and shout out to every single one of you guys, even the guys in the chat who I'm finding out served in the U.S. Marine Corps.
Yes.
And a lot of the guys who served in the military. We'll see you. Have a great weekend. Go Lions. Jeff Iafrate, Sam Flannel, Lucas Claus, JB, and, of course, Brady Wood hanging out with us. Big D Energy will be up next. Neil Rule, Lindsey Hunter. If you guys want to tell Neil Rule, and talk some ish to him, I have no problem with that. It is what it is.